Sobrar pro Asana.
He is the only one who has never won any international tournament in his team. His hunger was higher compared to others. Towering in front of him, the same enemy, the two-time world champion. The same challenge for him to overcome again. Whenever Buriram needed someone to step forward, Wasa was always there first. Every fight he took was a risk. But that's what makes him one of the best rushers in the world.
Oh, Wasa! Nolan notices him as LBT tries to take the trade on the map, but he turns around too late. The mini Uzi making all the difference for Wasa.
Pina out in the open. Wasa looks to finish him off at this point. Pina dropped as well. Ooh! Best rushes out there, the one and only Wasa.
We do have Wasa. Oh, the one shot onto Blade. Wasn't even given a chance to be able to be picked up. And now Wasa pushing through for the team as well.
Fearless and relentless, he created openings where none existed, winning duels no one else could.
Buriram already have activated the champion rush condition. This has to be the moment. Buriram, your three-time world champions.
2 attempts, 2 heartbreaks, but he refused to break. When everyone doubted him, he kept his smile, and today he burns brighter than ever. The MVP of the best team in Free Fire World Series 2025 Global Final. Since 2023, when Buriram United first came into the FFWS Global Finals, with the roster of 2022's world champions, captained by 2-time world champion Jonah, taking new recruit Wasana, the all-star lineup crumbled, losing to Brazilian rivals, Magic Squad. Even though they finished second, many people still doubted them, especially Wasana. After a year, they returned to the FFWS with the same goal in mind. Unfortunately, their plans went sideways as Buriram finished third instead. This year, they return with the same goal: prove the doubters wrong. But they started the tournament poorly.
ก็พวกผมก็ทำเต็มที่ครับความพยายามไม่เคยทำร้ายใครอยู่แล้วพวกผมพยายามมา2 ปีครับที่พยายามมามันไม่เคยเสียหายครับมันทำให้ทีมตัวเองได้เก่งยิ่งขึ้นครับแล้วที่วิจารณ์กันมาว่าฟอร์มดรอปก็ตอนนั้นก็ดรอปจริงๆครับแต่ตอนนี้ก็พยายามแก้ไขในสิ่งที่พลาดในตอนนั้นจนถึงมาสำเร็จทุกวันนี้ครับ
รู้สึกว่าอยากได้มากครับเพราะว่าโดนพี่เกียรติล้อกีนอนชอบล้อผมไม่มีแชมป์โลกที่ได้ MVP ไม่มีแชมป์โลกเขาชอบล้อกันนะคนที่ชอบล้อผมนะแต่ผมเกียรติคนเดียวนะกีนอนคนเดียวเลยชอบล้อไปถล่มเขาย้ำๆนะคนดูแต่ว่าชอบพูดมาแบบตอนว่าเฮ้ยใครไม่ได้แชมป์โลกวะไม่คุยกับคนไม่ได้แชมป์โลกวะ
Reset. Adapt. Burn bright.
Powerhouse Stackwood champions. Buriram United Esports.
ก่อนจะเข้ามาแข่งรอบเกมไฟนอลก็คิดไว้ครับว่าพวกผมเอาแชมป์ให้วัฒนาเพราะว่าน้องยังไม่เคยได้แชมป์โลกแล้วทุกคนทำเพื่อวัฒนาแล้วก็มั่นใจกันมากครับผม
This year, they finally did it.
Buriram, your three-time world champions.
Joanna's dedication for Buriram finally paid off. as he made history as the first ever three-time FFWS Global Finals champion, as the captain led his young teammate Wasa to his first ever World Championship.
ก็รู้สึกดีใจครับที่ได้เห็นน้องถือถ้วยแล้ว แต่ว่าเราก็ดีในลึกๆเราก็ดีใจเหมือนกันเพราะเราก็ตามหาถ้วยนี้มานานมาก
ก็มาแทนตอนนั้นเหมือนมาแทนพี่ไอ้นะครับแล้วเขาก็เมนกันว่ามาแทนเดี๋ยวคูดจะไหวหรออะไรก็ผมทำไม่เห็นแล้วนะครับ
Once the youngest in EXP, now the backbone of AG, he's walked this path before. In 2023, he seized the tournament MVP, carving his name in fire against giants like Buchin, Q, and Bops.
รู้สึกดีใจอยู่ครับแต่ว่าเสียใจที่ว่าไม่ได้แชมป์ด้วยครับ
AG's due as their leader, their carry, their heartbeat. Within 2 years of relentless improvements, he came back stronger. He lead his squad to crush doubt and dominate the Clash squad.
Oh, dude! You can do it, son! This is it! A 12-57 drags them across the finish line with an ace on Mac 3!
From being the 2023 MVP, he has walked the talk, and now he proves the doubters wrong all over again, earning the first ever MVP and carving his name into history as a champion of the first FFWS Clash Squad World Finals. We are here in Jakarta for the Free Fire World Series Global Finals 2025. The biggest Free Fire event in Free Fire Esports of the year. The knockout stage began, and 6 days decided everything. The best teams crushed doubts, while 6 teams were crushed by pressure and eliminated early instead.
Triple kill. Double kill.
Fans from every corner of Indonesia traveled to witness an epic finale to the team's journey in Jakarta's Indonesia Arena, the nation's largest esports venue. 100,000s of fans, lights, music, fire, energy, all building up toward the biggest show Free Fire has ever put on.
Double kill.
What an epic end to the FFWS Global Finals 2025. Congratulations to our world champions, Battle United Esports. A Guinness World Record-breaking esports event attended by over 600,000 participants.
Welcome to Royale.
Molasses.
This is the Pros Masterclass. Nero, a deep dive into his strengths, abilities, and why he's shaping the way pros play right now. Next, let's break down some high-level pro plays from FFWS 2025. REFLEX took the launch pad and a free target for Esports as they soared through the sky. REFLEX got knocked the moment he landed. From far, Nero's skill to stop REFLEX from instant glue walling and get a resurrection on REFLEX. Nero's skill also disables Joseph's ability, allowing detection skills like Moko's to become more effective. REFLEX had to spend more time breaking Nero's plushie before they could safely resurrect. The damage from Nero's plushie continues to tick down their HP. Esports uses this window to close in on REFLEX. With REFLEX's HP not full, Esports comes in for the cleanup. Meta shifts, tactical zoning, and anti-glue control, Nero brings a whole new layer of strategy to every fight. At this moment, Esports uses Nero's skill first to break through the enemy's defense, powered by Joseph, then activates A124 skill to disable the opponent's active abilities. However, Joseph can counter a 124's effect and protect himself from it. That's a wrap on our Nero breakdown. The plushie, the pressure, and the plays that define this meta. Is Nero your must pick, or just overhyped?
12 teams reset back to 0 points in the champion rush. The grand finals bring pressure like nothing else, with unpredictable results, split-second decisions, pressure, and stage fright. This is where confidence decides everything.
ทุกชั่วโมงทุกอย่างที่เราซ้อมกันมาถึงวันนี้ทุกอย่างที่เราเสียสละการเปลี่ยนแปลงที่เราปรับและช่วยเรามาถึงจุดนี้ได้เนาะ
Só ganha essa quem dá o buia, mano. Então não vamos deixar ninguém ganhar e ninguém tirar esse buia de nós.
Hari ini terakhir. Ya, waktunya keluarin semua, main all out dari game 1. Ya, main all out dari game 1 tanpa beban, tanpa pressure, enjoy. Se-enjoy-enjoynya.
sedikit waktu maksimalin percaya sama teman itu yang paling penting แล้วก็ไม่มีอะไรแล้วเดี๋ยวไปบวกข้างบนมาคุยลำ3 ที
valer a pena na vida de vocês, mano. A gente não sabe que a gente terá outras oportunidades igual essa. Fechou? Então vamos pra cima. Alguém quiser falar, o momento é de vocês.
Dut bilang sama gua match 4 kita sampai di champion rush match kelima kita tutup. Walaupun emang harus gagal di match kelima match 6 kita tutup. So menurut gua gak ada yang gak mungkin. Walaupun emang harus gagal sekali masih ada next match.
Paling aku dari aku itu aja selalu diingat saling percaya itu kuncinya guys. Oke? Kita mulai. Mari kita berdoa guys.
Ya.
Bora ao máximo em geral.
Masih
Gak apa-apa. Ya.
Oke banget, Cok.
2 booyahs from the on-fire Fluxo silenced the Indonesian crowd, leaving behind a big gap with R7, RRQ, and EVOS. They are now in desperate need of a recovery.
Santai guys.
RRQ and EVOS finally recovering. However, Buriram is miles ahead of everyone else. The first to activate the champion rush.
Kamu nggak lewat sini, kita lewat depannya, ayo, gua skill.
Len. Satu. Sabar.
A desperate play from RRQ stops Buriram,
Masuk postir.
giving Flukes of the chance to activate the Champion Rush with the Booyah. Champion Rush activated. Now two teams begin their race for the final Booyah. It's the end of FFWS Global Finals 2025. We witnessed doubts being crushed and history being made from the eyes of the MVP himself, Wasana. Buriram United Esports are crowned as Best Team of the Year.
Who am I gonna verse now? Burn bright, I don't burn out. Crush doubts, look at me now, huh?
I could never go reverse now.
But I'ma spin it back, A-jump. Went from nada to the crowd, throw in their hands, base jump. I'ma hit the finish line no matter what. They front, first place, you a runner-up, dominant, but the red and the blues going ruthless. 10 out of 10, 11, I don't snooze. I pursue, don't push it, put me in game that I don't lose. I stay cool, depending on my pen and pennants I choose. Ayy, I'ma show you how it. Got it, now the loudest. Wu-Tang, I'm a bird, love the composition. Told you only way is up, I don't go reverse. I can't entertain. Will you do the same? Cause I've been ready my whole life. Only see my back, I ain't turning back on them. Wings on me, I'm higher. Cause I've been ready my whole life. Wings on me, I'm higher. Who am I gonna verse now? Who am I gonna verse now? Show me what it's worth now. I pull up in the can't imagine all these people wanna follow, missing in action. Paper planes, I'm a condos, faded from rapping, and I met role models. Thinking I'ma pass all the monogram on my body, the shit shout out to Virgil. Know that I'm gonna beat them like the shit that I put words to. Mama and the internet, two things that I just learned through. Hit it out of the park, so there's nothing to reverse to. I can't entertain. Will you do the same? Cause I've been ready my whole life. Only see my back, I ain't turning back on them. Wings on me, I'm higher. Cause I've been ready my whole life. Wings on me, I'm higher.
Let's go. Wild and free, got an animal in me. Once you see, you ain't never wanna leave. You think your eyes are fooling you. It's just the way my body moves. I bring the sugar and spice. I got naughty and nice. Get the cinnamon ones. Promise you one Yeah, razor sharp, really so far, I light it up. Fireworks in the dark. I'm a non-stop drill, I can lose that kill. I'm a little bit bittersweet, but you can pour some sugar on me. I'ma knock you off of your feet. Non-stop drill, I can lose that kill. I'm a little bit bittersweet, but you can pour some sugar on me. I'ma knock you off of your feet. Non-stop drill, I can lose that kill. Non-stop drill, I can lose that kill. Lose that kill. Bang bang, you dead. Lose that kill. Non-stop drill, I can lose that kill. Lose that kill. Bang bang, you dead. Lose that kill. Bang bang, you dead. Hands up, boy, I'm reaching for you. Can't stop now, I can't afford to give me more, 'cause I adore you. Kiss, kiss, bang bang on the floor, yeah. Non-stop drill, I can lose that kill. Non-stop drill, I can lose that kill. I'm a little bit bittersweet, but I put some sugar on me. I'ma knock it off of your feet. Non-stop drill, I can lose that kill. Lose that kill. Bang bang, you're dead. Lose that kill. Non-stop drill, I can lose that kill.
From the kid that everybody doubted and everyone said was overrated.
Mungkin player overrated ya Wasana lah. Wasanaครับ
O Wasana.
Wasana.
É o Wasana. Atualmente vai sobrar pro Wasana.
He is the only one who has never win any international tournament in his team. His hunger was higher compared to others. Towering in front of him, the same enemy, the two-time world champion. The same challenge for him to overcome again. Whenever Buriram needed someone to step forward, Wasa was always there first. Every fight he took was a risk. But that's what makes him one of the best rushers in the world.
Oh, Wasana! Nolan notices him as LBT tries to take the trade on the map, but he turns around too late. The mini Uzi making all the difference for Wasana.
Pina out in the open. Wasana looks to finish him off at this point. Pina dropped as well. Ooh! Best rushes out there, the one and only Wasana.
We do have Wasana. Oh, the one shot onto Blade. Wasn't even given a chance to be able to be picked up. And now Wasana pushing through for the team as well.
Fearless and relentless, he created openings where none existed, winning duels no one else could.
Buriram already have activated the champion rush condition. This has to be the moment. Buriram, your three-time world champion.
2 attempts, 2 heartbreaks, but he refused to break. When everyone doubted him, he kept his smile, and today he burns brighter than ever. The MVP of the best team in Free Fire World Series 2025 Global Final. Since 2023, when Buriram United first came into the FFWS Global Finals with the roster of 2022's world champions, captained by two-time world champion Jonah, take in new recruit Wasa, the all-star lineup crumbled, losing to Brazilian rivals Magic Squad. Even though they finished second, many people still doubted them, especially Wasa. After a year, they returned to the FFWS with the same goal in mind. Unfortunately, their plans went sideways as Buriram finished third instead. This year, they returned with the same goal: prove the doubters wrong. But they started the tournament poorly.
ก็พวกผมก็ทำเต็มที่ครับความพยายามไม่เคยทำร้ายใครอยู่แล้วพวกผมพยายามมา2 ปีครับที่พยายามมามันไม่เคยเสียหายครับมันทำให้ทีมตัวเองได้เก่งยิ่งขึ้นครับแล้วที่วิจารณ์กันมาว่าฟอร์มดรอปก็ตอนนั้นก็ดรอปจริงๆครับแต่ตอนนี้ก็พยายามแก้ไขในสิ่งที่พลาดในตอนนั้นจนถึงมาสำเร็จทุกวันนี้ครับ
รู้สึกว่าอยากได้มากครับเพราะว่าโดนพี่เกียรติล้อคีนอนชอบล้อผมไม่มีแชมป์โลกพี่แต่ MVP ไม่มีแชมป์โลกเขาชอบล้อกันนะคนจริงชอบล้อผมนะแต่ผมเกียรติคนเดียวนะคีนอนคนเดียวเลยชอบล้อไปถล่มเขาย้ำๆนะคนดูแต่ว่าชอบพูดมาแบบนอนว่าเฮ้ยใครไม่ได้แชมป์โลกวะไม่คุยกับคนไม่ได้แชมป์โลกวะ
Reset. Adapt. Burn bright.
Champions, Buriram United Esports.
ก่อนจะเข้ามาแข่งรอบเกมแคนนอนก็คิดไว้ครับว่าพวกผมมาเอาแชมป์ให้วัฒนาเพราะว่าน้องยังไม่เคยได้แชมป์โลกแล้วทุกคนทำเพื่อวัฒนาแล้วก็มั่นใจกันมากครับผม
This year, they finally did it.
Your 3-time world champions.
Joanna's dedication for Buriram finally paid off, as he made history as the first ever 3-time FFWS Global Finals champion, as the captain led his young teammate Wasana to his first ever world championship.
ก็รู้สึกดีใจครับที่ได้เห็นน้องถือถ้วยแล้วแต่ว่าเราก็ดีในลึกๆเราก็ดีใจเหมือนกันเพราะเราก็ตามหาถ้วยนี้มานานมาก
ก็มาแทนตอนนั้นก็เหมือนมาแทนพี่ไอ้นะครับแล้วเขาก็เมนกันว่ามาแทนเดี๋ยวคูดจะไหวหรออะไรก็ผมจำไม่เห็นแล้วนะครับ
Once the youngest in EXP, now the backbone of AG, he's walked this path before. In 2023, he seized the tournament MVP, carving his name in fire against giants like
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, survivors of all ages, welcome to the Fire MAX Asia Invitational 2025. 7 nations will compete to see who can call themselves the very best in Asia. And today is day 2 out of 3 in our Battle Royale Play-Ins. And we start the day with a brand new duo. Crips and Mustachio here to rock the first 3 games of the day. Crips, how you feeling, my brother?
I am feeling super pumped for this. Thank you so much for the warm welcome, AJ. I am super excited to see what these teams have in store for us because we already got a glimpse of what they have to offer yesterday. Yeah. We saw the matches of Groups B and C yesterday. Today, we will be witnessing the matches of Groups A and B. So for the teams of Group B, this will be their last chance. They need to score as many points as possible and get into the top 10 because keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this is still the play-ins. All the teams that you see over here, only 10 of them will advance to next week where they will be joined by more invited teams, and that will be the BR finals.
Absolutely. So not a lot of opportunities. That's exactly what you're saying, and I hope the teams hear you loud and clear. And he's absolutely right? Because today is the final chance for the players in Group B to pick up some solid points for themselves, to hope and pray that nobody catches up with them, especially from Group A and C when that clash happens tomorrow. And it's always an unnerving thing, right? To sit back and watch the other squads participate and see if or not anybody is going to be overtaking your points and kicking you out of the top 10. That's going to be pretty nail-biting, so you guys should not miss the action tomorrow. But of course, we'll be looking at exactly what Group A can do to dismantle the confidence that Group B has built yesterday, because yesterday was a fantastic run for some of these teams.
Some of these teams being the keyword. I think out of all the teams in Group B, only KAGENDRA Esports had like a decent enough run yesterday. Everybody else seems to be struggling. So to figure out exactly what's at stake over here, let's take a look at the overall timeline of the tournament and see how much time these teams have to make their mark. Right now, we are in the BR play-ins. It's 6th of December. One more day of the BR play-in remains, and 18 teams will be participating over here. Out of these, 10 teams will advance to the BR main event, which will begin on 11th of December and will go on till the 14th. On 14th, we will crown our champion for the BR mode, and then the week after that, we will begin the Clash Squad main event.
Yeah, absolutely. So usually we've had the BR and CS grand finals happen back-to-back. This one, we're going to be splitting it up between the weeks. So make sure you don't skip any one of these days, because each and every single day will have something up on the table, something on the stakes, and it's not going to be easy to miss any one of this. I'm pretty sure you'll knock yourselves on the head, because this is some phenomenal Free Fire action. Even the action yesterday, man, nail-biting. Nobody thought that KAGENDRA would be able to climb up to the top. Nobody thought that Nepal, well, except of course the Nepalese fans, that Nepal will be able to find such domination. But of course, continuing on to what all of the hustle out there is for, it's to play for $50,000 US in total, out of which $35,000 has been set aside for Battle Royale.
Yep, $35,000 for the Battle Royale prize pool, out of which the champion will walk away with $10,000. Then the second place team will walk away with $5,000, and almost everybody will get something or the other.
Oh yeah.
Even if you make it to the 18th spot, you will get a measly amount of $650. But let's be honest, it's not just the money that they're playing here. The money that they're playing here for, they are playing for the bragging rights.
Yes, but also when I was 16, 17, 18, you tell me I'm going to be able to play esports and get $650 US, bro. It's a lot of money on the table. So obviously everybody's going to be walking away with a little smile on their faces. But of course, it's not the only thing that can put a smile on their faces, because if you are not too adept at Battle Royale, maybe you can drop by in Clash Squad and see exactly how your squad fares. We've got $15,000 USD set aside for Clash Squad. And of course, the champions take away the biggest slice of the pie, $4,000 USD. Down at the very bottom, all the way down to the 16th spot, we've got $400 USD still on the plate. So even if you walk away with the final spot of each BR and CS, I think that's pretty decent money for someone who's still building up their career in the world of esports.
Oh, definitely. The amount of money that you will be set with, it's gonna be really, really nice. And more than that, I kind of feel like some of these teams have a lot more emotional value attached to this tournament, especially for me, since I'm from India. I've been dying to see teams from my country play in an international tournament, and we finally get that chance. So
yeah.
now it's not just about winning the money and winning the tournament. It's also about seeing what kind of caliber you have and exactly where you stand in the world rankings.
The cardinal rules of Free Fire Esports: you hit the booyah, you walk away with 12 points, 9 points for that second place. Each consecutive spot, you have to minus off 1 point. That's what you get in terms of placement points, except if you come in 11th and 12th, that gets you absolutely nothing. But every single elimination will gain you 1 point for your squad. And if you do end up in a situation where you've got the exact same number of points as your opponents, then we'll have to look at our tiebreaker rules that goes by the number of booyahs followed by the total eliminations. And even if that fails, we look at the ranking of the final match they play.
Yep, and every single elimination point will get you that much closer to the victory podium. Keep in mind that in order to get these points, you need to get a good combination of your active skills, because you're only allowed to have one active skill per team. On top of that, you also need to optimize your team boosters and your tactical markets. Most of the time, we've seen people rock 2 team boosters and 2 tactical markets in a single team, but the active skill, that has been changing. A lot of these teams were sticking to their Tatsuyas, their Oscars, and their Chronos. That's like the staple picks that we've been seeing. But some of these teams have also started experimenting with Nero. Whether or not they will be able to use it to its maximum potential, we will witness today.
In the current meta, I think Nero's extremely important, extremely useful in a lot of these battle sequence. But of course, some of the teams have also opted once in a while to swap out that Nero with a Steffi. We totally understand why. The M79, the grenade launcher, is a menace out there. If you get caught out in the wrong place, wrong time, your whole squad is going to get toast. But of course, she can save your life. Understandably so. But of course, we do escape from the disaster of having 4 Tatsuyas. Oh, I mean, can you imagine 4 Oscars,
that was a nightmare.
dashing around on the battlefield, breaking down all of these glue walls. Yeah, we'll get a total match update with like 500 glue walls busted in that one match. But thankfully, we don't have to deal with anything like that this time round, Grips.
Yeah, and it also brings about a lot of creativity, which I love to see. I also like seeing how these people don't just use their abilities for their intended uses, but also they try to entrap their opponents. So that is also really, really nice to see.
Oh, yeah,
but
absolutely.
I want to see which one of these teams will be the most creative, because we saw a glimpse of these teams yesterday. Some of these teams were in Group B, so this is their last chance. But now we have teams like NG Pros, GODLIKE Esports, the GOAT Esports, GOW, Bangladesh Top 1, and IQOO OGxTSG. They will be playing their first matches today.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you said as to how, as an Indian, you are very excited to see the Indian squads participate in a competition like this. I am super excited to see India, Bangladesh, Nepal, all of them hop on in here, and at the same time have some Southeast Asian squads be a part of the roster of players playing in here as well, right? We finally get to see the clash between the South Asian as well as Southeast Asian squads to see exactly how well the Southeast Asian teams match up to them. And yesterday was a bomber. I mean, it couldn't have ended in any better way, where we did see a lot of dominance out of the Southeast Asian teams. Avida, KAGENDRA mainly pulling away the top of the leaderboard. But we do expect to see something different here, because we've got some heavy hitters like GODLIKE Esports jumping into the fray as well.
Yeah, GODLIKE Esports were touted to be one of the best teams in India, and they had a lot of expectations riding on them during the FFMAI. Unfortunately, they stumbled just a few steps away from the trophy. This, however, is going to be their chance at redemption. NG Pros, similar story. Almost got the India Championship in the bag, but they couldn't do much, and they stumbled at the last few steps. But take a look at the members of KAGENDRA. Every single one of these players was on fire yesterday, and I'm not even trying to make any puns about the guy who's actually named Fire in this team.
I mean, no doubt at all. I mean, I did expect KAGENDRA to do something magical out there, but unfortunately for them, they could not have a lot of those opportunities to the booyahs, because, of course, GB Esports showed up big time for Nepal, and this is something I'm expecting to see here today as well. Nepal rising up, but can the Rising Gods keep up with the pride that GB Esports has brought to their nation today? Because yesterday wasn't that great of a run for Rising Gods. They ended the day in the 9th spot. Not a lot of placement points, but as opposed to the elimination points, which were really suffering yesterday, right? So when it comes to the engagements, the gunfights, Rising Gods still need to repair quite a bit of what they need to do in order to approach this matchup.
I think that can be said for all the teams on this current screen. Nightmare Esports, Redcliffe, Reflex United, Rising Gods. Neither of them exactly had a nice time yesterday, but at least Redcliffe know how to take fights. They were winning some of these squad battles, and at least they were not getting eliminated right off the bat. Reflex United, on the other hand, these guys became the punching bags yesterday, and hopefully today they can put on their boxing gloves and hit back.
Reflex United, unfortunately, having to come in very last in the 12th spot. Obviously, Bangladesh not going to be too happy with that, but Redcliffe is still kind of carrying the flag of the nation for us here. They will be in participation once again here today out of Group B, but it's going to be their final opportunity. And as we go through these maps, Purgatory, Bermuda, Nextera, a quick short break. When we come back, it's going to be Kalahari, Solara, as well as Alpine. No extra maps, so you just have to find a way to nail all 6 games.
Yep. And 6 games are all that stand between you and certain elimination, or maybe you could even make it to the other side and see us in the next week. At least with the teams of Group B, this is the case. For the teams of Group A, though, they've had the chance to rest yesterday and take a look at what everyone else has to offer in the lobby. I want to ask you this question. Do you think that's actually an advantage? Playing on the second day instead of the first and getting the chance to observe your opponents, does that actually make that much of a difference?
Yeah, absolutely, man. If you don't want to get your butt whooped early and if you want to avoid a good hot drop, yeah, it's a huge advantage. At least you get to avoid some of your opponents. You also get to test out exactly how well you do in some of these maps by hot dropping opponents that you think you can take on, or at least you want to test your caliber up against. So yeah, it's a huge advantage to play on the second day. So that's exactly what I think Group A has got going for them. You know, you've got teams like GODLIKE Esports here. You've got GOW Esports here out of Southeast Asia. This Vietnamese squad, I mean, yeah, they blow hot and cold. Sometimes they are absolutely horrible. Sometimes they are just at the very top, right? So if you don't know which version we're going to get of them today, but with the extra bit of information, I do expect them to abuse that.
Definitely. It's not just the extra information that they have, but especially for squads like GOW, they've got so much experience riding on them, and they've been to so many World Series finals as well, right? So they definitely are the team to look out for today. If there's one team that can probably dominate and maybe even overtake KAGENDRA, it has to be them.
Now, this is the biggest question that's on my mind today. Who do you think is going to dominate the leaderboard of the day? Do you think, if not, we're going to see some of these Group B teams get kicked out? Because, like you said earlier on as well, Crips, some of these teams didn't do all that too well. Yesterday, I mean, Rising Gods, they couldn't rise up the leaderboard all that too much. We had the Headhunters, who I thought were off to a great start, and then they kind of trickled down in terms of performance. I wanted to see them hunt more heads yesterday.
Yeah, and they were hunting those heads up until they got to the last few circles, and at that point, they just bit off a bit more than they could chew.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's where they fell from grace. They had some really nice fights, especially in the early games. They were getting a bunch of eliminations, but then they just couldn't close it out. So talk about having great potential, but not being able to actually achieve it. That really hurts.
that definitely hurts, but thankfully we do have 2 games, 2 play days for these teams, right? So the teams who couldn't really make the cut yesterday can try again today. But of course, this is the graphic that you have to take with not a pinch of salt, but a bowl of salt, because obviously this is not what we're going to see in a few seconds. I think that was proven yesterday as well. Usually these are the preferred drop spots, but clearly we are not dealing with, you know, chump squads out here, right? Everybody has done their homework, and they did very well yesterday trying to avoid some of these hot drops. But of course, in some circumstances, it was just unavoidable because they didn't have a lot of information to work around with. But again, back to your point earlier on, the advantage that Group A has is they know exactly where Group B or where Group B potentially might be landing on. So avoiding some of those hot drops becomes so much more easier.
Yeah, but all of these hot drops, which these guys mentioned, almost none of these teams followed them yesterday. I think only 2 teams actually stuck to their drop spots. Nightmare Esports actually landed in Crossroads yesterday. And if I'm not wrong, it was KAGENDRA who mentioned that they are going to stick to their spot, but then they deviated just a tiny bit. So it's not that much. Everybody else, they were lying to us.
Well, it's good, right? You got to trick your opponents because they would have been thinking, okay, wait a minute, who's going to get this information? Our opponent's going to get this information. Obviously, they don't want to give away all of whatever that's in their bag of tricks just yet. But we do hope to see some of these teams really step it up today because once again, their final chance. Rising Gods out of Nepal. We don't have a lot of Nepali squads in here. We only have 2 out of Nepal. So if Rising Gods don't step it up today in terms of their mechanical capability to get these eliminations, it's going to be a rough one and a potential elimination staring them in the eyes. Because like you also said, Crips, we are only taking 10 teams. There's 18 here. 8 need to be eliminated, and that's just merciless, I think. That's a lot.
It really is. It's a cold battlefield out there.
Yeah.
And yes, the teams from Nepal, even though there's only just 2 of them, things do seem a little bleak for them. But then there's another region who only send like 2 teams each from a country, but they are thriving. I mean, the SCA teams, it doesn't matter if you're from Indonesia or you're from Thailand, these guys are dominating. And there's one Vietnamese team, GOW, who have already proven their mettle on much bigger stages in much tougher tournaments. So even though there's limited teams from both those regions, they have such contrasting gameplay styles and such contrasting amounts of dominance that they showcase.
Yeah, no doubt at all, man. I think these Southeast Asian teams, the one thing that they are lucky with is that they have had more of these fights, right? I'm very sure these South Asian teams, it's just a matter of time before they catch up and they start whooping butt out there as well. You know, before long, we might just see a South Asian champion of the world. But of course, here are our predictions. GOW, I think they're going to come bursting out of the gate. But of course, GODLIKE as well as Nightmare Esports. I think Nightmare, yesterday, they showed us what they can do. And that was their warm-up day. Today, I do expect them to go a little bit further.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. Nightmare definitely has what it takes to make a comeback today. I just don't think they might be able to do it right away on Purgatory. Historically, they've never been very successful on Purgatory. They've always, you know, done more on maps like Kalahari, on maps like Nextera, when there's a lot of cover for them. They excel in these close combat battles. But other teams like GODLIKE, for that matter, they're really good at resource management. And that's going to be super important on a wide open map like Purgatory. I can say the same for NG Pros, but then again, NG Pros kind of like the golden goose for all sort of Indian teams. They can perform well on almost every map. The only dark horse over here is going to be KAGENDRA, because even though they have a lot of firepower and they really excel at close quarter battles, I want to see if they can maintain that same level of dominance on a map which doesn't offer them so many close range battles.
Well, let's see if KAGENDRA can pull this one away, right? Because in the grand scheme of things, they definitely do have a lot more experience going up against world-class squads, even just in scrims alone, you know, set aside these competitions where they have managed to go quite far in the past. But I think GODLIKE from India, both of us think that they're going to do very well, fairly well in this upcoming matchup. I do expect Purgatory to be a big one for them, a big opening day. This will really set the tone for the rest of the day, as well as how India takes this as well, Grips.
Yep. But let's see whether these predictions come true or not, or whether they will fall flat and just crash and burn. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. We are about to go live with the first game of the day. It's neither heaven nor hell, it's Purgatory, and this is where everyone will be tested.
I don't like being tested, man. Back in school,
of course,
exam day, I'm out of there. But of course, out of there, right in here, it's Fire MAX Asia Invitational Day 2 out of 3 in our BR play-ins, and it's Purgatory to kick the day off. Let's see exactly who's fully warmed up before the start of this day. I want to see if or not these hot drops can wake us up.
Let's see if there are any hot drops at all. I'm expecting quite a few in Brasilia, but then again, all the teams that drop in Brasilia don't often stay there long enough to exchange blows. NG Pros and KAGENDRA might lock horns with each other. On the other hand, you've got a potential clash in Marble Works as well. But for now, let's focus on this particular fight. Aztec has that tiny Uzi. Runs around the other side. He's getting chased by 2 people. He thought he was safe, but Keeper's got the angles, and he draws first blood.
Brilliantly played here. Elimination leaders KAGENDRA, but that's just one single elimination. They still want to hunt more. Corpse moving away, and the easy shutdown off of that P94 Kiba, who picks up his second elimination. They are on a roll, and NG Pros not looking so pro on that immediate hot drop. We can't really blame them, of course. Couldn't really get those good guns just yet, but an easy revival coming on through thanks to Manu.
Nice 2-2 split from the side of NG Pros. They had a couple of their players in Brasilia, but the others were already on their way to campsite. They get the revive over there using the vending machine on a completely different POI. And that's how you mitigate your risk. You diversify your portfolio. And I know I sound like a stockbroker right now, but hey, sometimes these real life advices, they work in video games too.
I guess they do, man. NG Pros, too smart. Not going back in there for a rematch, but backing away, making sure they've got a decent amount of loot first before they go in there for the re-engage. Mitla dropping right back in on that revive. Will continue to survive as one of his team members tries to put the heat on Manik. Turns around, Scar goes in for the hunt. And the rest of them closing in on him as well. Trying to play the numbers game here, Godlike.
Reflex Esports, can they get the first knock? Yes, they can. Tasin strikes Manik down. Reawake, trying to reposition. Locks out his opponent using a glue wall, and now he's going to try to go around the other side. He finds the angle onto Rexan. He's isolating these one-on-one so well.
I meant to say godlike. Accidentally said godlike, but I guess that's going to be the pun for the rest of the competition here. IQOO finding one from afar. GOW facing a little bit of resistance out there, and Vietnam has to be on a tad bit of a reset here. Raftar tagged down. Tasin at 590 will get the clip, drops Raftar, and Reflex started off hot here with 5 eliminations.
Poor Raftar had no idea that an opponent was creeping up from the sides. Didn't hear the footsteps, I guess. Reawake. Can he create a nice safe opening for his teammates who are not dropping down? NG Pros, they were in so much trouble earlier fighting against KAGENDRA, but now they've found another opponent who's harassing them. Oh, Headhunters. They just crawl into this area without even expecting any resistance, but hey, they just avoided a couple of free eliminations.
Yep, I guess they are lucky for now. Open ground rotation. Nobody's spotting them out just yet. Good use of the binoculars earlier on as well. But as we speak of good luck, one player from the side of KAGENDRA, I believe in a vehicle, about to drive by the squad. We'll catch up with that action in a little bit. Redcliffe being cornered by the players of GOW, who are widespread on these open grounds. Not looking good for GOW if they're going up against a strong, long sniping team. Redcliffe, on the other hand, hasn't been so sharp in some of these engagements, so GOW is going to get away with this one easy. Death not even waiting for backup. Narrow plushie tossed on out, taking away at his health, and Ashiki quickly backs away.
Does that pursue? Ashiki sees him with the TPP, and they try to pre-fire him, but Death avoids Death for the time being by using that glue wall. Here comes the dash. Demon plows right through, and the trade is here. Death can be easily revived. There's no backup coming in from the side of RC, so they can't confirm their knock. Can Demon continue? Ashifi also falls, and their plans are backfiring so hard right now. RC look like they've bitten off more than they could chew.
Beautiful push by Demon, and played the timing well as he waited for Death to step up with that Oscar. Valiant dash, breaking down the glue walls, getting them that knock, and piling up the pressure here on Redcliffe. GOW still in for the hunt here. They have to be careful. A potential to get caught out here by another squad. And it is the GOAT Esports who comes across Fahim. RIP trying to make sure nobody steals away his elimination. They go in for the sprays, but Manik still does manage to get to him. GOW is now pissed.
Man, Manik is already fighting his own demons. He was busy fighting against the members of Redcliffe, while GOW are also just pummeling down on him. Talk about being caught between a rock and a hard place.
Tension is feeding the tension right now as Death finds him. Pun definitely intended. Tennyson backs away. RIP looking for one, but Demon sneaks that knock away. Sharon won't be sharing any coins with anybody else for the time being. He needs each and every single bit of that to bring his team members back. Question is, can he get to a vending machine? Death and Demon running this town now as they force Goat away.
And Sharon is so isolated from his teammates. There's no backup available. Hops into a vehicle, but he's being chased. This is almost a Fast and Furious movie over here if they actually manage to catch up to him.
Well, let's see if or not they do manage to get this done. Sharon, Deanne with the Winchester makes this one look way too easy. I've tried it a couple of times. It's not easy.
Yeah, I can't use any sniper for that matter. Winchester is just absolutely difficult to use. But then again, that's just skill issue on my end. Speaking of skill, Gopu skillfully helps his teammates take down one more, and now they are trying to take down the rest of Bangladesh top one.
Mehdi gets away. No Henny can shut him down just yet, but Farhan will catch a little fish out of water. It's a 2v1. Glue wall still standing for the time being outside the window. Yet another glue wall to smash through. The grenade bounces off Farhan, not finding his prey that easy. It would be absolutely hilarious if Showo turns this around. M590 drops a trip mine. Big play coming on through, but does not jump through the window in time. Gopu finds it. Drogon picks up another for the Nightmare Squad.
Nightmare Squad avoiding casualties really well. Just taking names, kicking ass. Amin also brought back to the ground. Good revives from this team overall, so it's a nice start. But Reflex Esports once again find themselves in the crosshairs of GOW.
GOW 6 eliminations already, and Reflex. Yesterday, their reflexes were not that too great. Probably getting a little older there. RIP. M590 back up from Demon from afar. Winchester pulls out the time turner and reawake with the Bison, sprays him down. Brilliant play of the utilities, and the Bangladeshi squad looking alive as they take on GOW. Demon, Deanne want no part of this. They say hasta la vista as they buzz away.
Yeah, they repelled away the invaders. Reflex Esports, they're definitely turning the tide over here. Didn't really have a great time yesterday, but now in the first game itself, they've got 11 eliminations to their name. And that too, against some of the big hitters like GOW.
Oh, yeah.
That is definitely a commendable feat.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, that's the kind of action we are here for. And this is what Bangladesh wants to see. Reflex, 11 eliminations, and Tasin. You can definitely see this guy on the map. Sometimes he tries to play a John Cena on us, but yeah, he's definitely going to be seen by the end of this competition. Godlike, on the other hand, 4 eliminations strong. 1 apiece to the squad as they chill around outside the circle. Top 1 might just come across them if they try to rotate into the circle without a jump pad.
Yeah, but top 1 also are likely to run into the members of Red Cliff, who are really split up right now. Like, take a look at them. They're on 2 different islands.
Well, top 1's not going to have the chance to run into Godlike if Red Cliff keeps this up. Mahedi backing away. Showo spending too long outside the circle, away from the rest of his team members. Godlike Yogi's going to have a field day with this one. RG, on the other hand, the Rising Gods from Nepal. This is their last opportunity here today. Mex cannot miss. They cannot miss this opportunity to strike in all 6 games. They're way too close to the bottom.
Next circle's about to pop on our screens any moment now, and then we'll see which one of these islands has more landmass in the circle. It would be really great if the circle moves like right towards the water body and then forces the team to decide. Nah, it makes a hard shift towards Brasilia. Okay, fair enough. Easy decision making for these teams over here, but not an easy fight because Kagendra and RG are both focusing on NG Pros.
Yeah, Kagendra again cleaning up house, looking for more points here. Dead with the M590. Jump, hop-up shots will find Manu, who backs away. Mag 7 in hand. Good blue wall to keep himself safe. No window to far. Oh, there is a window right behind him. So Manu, opportunity, but second guesses the maneuver. And Kiba punishes him for it with the M590 on the invasion. 9 eliminations for the Indonesian squad already.
NG Pros are caught between these 2 teams. This is not the kind of meat patty sandwich you would want to be in. You've got Kagendra on one side, RG on the other. Of course. But then again, if you're gonna get swallowed whole, it doesn't matter whether you're a vegetarian or not. You're just gonna end up in someone's tummy, and that is not somewhere you would want to be. And the worst part is, the last member of NG Pros doesn't even have an escape avenue. The moment he steps foot outside this garage house, he's gonna get targeted. So all he can hope to do now is just lie low and hope that nobody sees him. Meanwhile, IQOO getting into one of their first battles, that too against GOW, and Kid lands that shot mid-air, rips Demon's head clean off of his shoulders. Death responds in kind. That's a lovely shot with the AWM, and he's going to be able to confirm that elimination as well. But he gets shot down. The Drogon from Chris doing wonders over here. Cannot IP go ahead for the pre-fire, uses the Bison, almost shaves down his opponent's health in half. But take a look at this. He's just struggling to finish off whatever he started. And he's got so many opponents on low HP, but he just simply cannot get an elimination. He's getting surrounded. I don't even know how he's still alive, and he finally bites the dust. Leg gets the better of him. A GOW death! He comes in as an angel from above and saves his team from an elimination.
What a play by Death! Initially started the fight with his plushie, all thanks to Nero, and then hops on up to the roof and annihilates player after player after player, walking away with 3 eliminations for his squad. It was a back and forth, but Death made sure he brought a swift end to that. What a play, GOW. Reflex, on the other hand, 12 eliminations. The only team that has got more eliminations than GOW, looking for a way to sneak into this next safe zone. Redcliffe behind them on a split push. This is looking like it's going to be a little difficult. UAV sent out. The Redcliffe player is about to be spotted out. At least they don't have to worry about their backs for a bit.
Yeah, but that isn't exactly an insurance policy. You need to get inside the zone as well, because so far, the few compounds that are still available are already being controlled by RG and KAGENDRA. Even Nightmare Esports, they've got a house that they can, claim for now, but eventually they'll be forced to abandon it. RG getting pushed. That flame forces them to go around the other side. But still, there's plenty of real estate available for now, AJ.
Absolutely. I'm from a country that doesn't really have too much of real estate. We've got decent land, but not a lot to, throw around. So let's see if or not these boys are able to manage it. We've been able to do it fairly well on our side, whilst keeping our forest alive. Off topic, but Reflex. Looking for RG. And these boys are just going to stay away from those windows. Divine, on the other hand, finding Raz. That's just a knock. Can't confirm it. And the return fire is even better. KAGENDRA pulling one away from Headhunters. This deep into the match. Vending machines are rare. They have to go outside the circle to find one. Headhunters are in a little bit of trouble.
Headhunters getting targeted by GOW. Luckily, Divine manages to plug them back into the revive, so they should be able to get back on the ground now. But Nightmare Esports are locking horns against RG for the time being. And none of these teams are going to leave this house and go in for the full stand. They will have to use their utility to bait their opponents out of their comfort zone. Meanwhile, take a look at GODLIKE Esports. They're moving smack into the center of the circle, right next to KAGENDRA. That is the only compound which is still in the zone, and that's going to be very important to control. But Nightmare Esports, now they finally get outside, and they are calling the bluff against RG. So many knocks. Goku pops that time turner, dumps back in. Sujal trying to go around the other side. He breaks the angles, connects that shot. Where is Hitman? He needs to come here and save his teammates right now. But it might just be too late because GODLIKE has them in their sights.
God level play by Sujal. Gets the final shot, picks up his buddy, and they stay alive for a little bit longer. My goodness me, GODLIKE could have punished them big time there. But the recovery and the instantaneous rotation keeps them alive for the time being. GOW going to be staying away. Nightmare with just 2 more players on the outside. This has turned out to be a nightmare for them. 8 more squads alive. They have to hang on. KAGENDRA, on the other hand, trying to get shot after shot. Midla on the ground, but it will not be stolen away by GOW, who rains the nades on them as well.
My goodness, Reflex Esports were targeted by almost every single person in the lobby. Even Headhunters bite the dust, they just simply cannot hold on. GODLIKE Esports now finally forced to get out of that house, have the angles onto Nightmare Esports, but so do KAGENDRA. At this point, everybody's trying to steal their elimination points away. Everybody's targeting Nightmare, and they want those points.
Absolutely, man. GOW, Nightmare, Godlike. That's exactly how I wanted to see this first game go. So if you guys could please take KAGENDRA out, I will be very happy. Oh no! KAGENDRA, dirty play, taking out Nightmare. That's not nice. I had them for third spot. And KAGENDRA, that was uncalled for.
GODLIKE Esports moving in first. They use the mini launch pads to get up on top of that house. IQOO and Marco come up with eliminations of their own, and they manage to res Yogi as well. So these guys are 4-man strong now. IQOO is on fire. He's not taking any prisoners. He's laying down the heat. Even the grenade launcher comes through. Dead on the ground. Raz has a chance to revive him, but he's trapped in that glue wall. Finally, the UAV light is broken, so he can actually bust those glue walls open and maybe get the res on his teammates. But the moment he does, Demon dives in right on the ground and he gets the confirmation on dead.
Dirty play by Demon, runs into those glue walls, gets the M590 tag, instantly backs away. One final survivor from the side of KAGENDRA. GODLIKE making the high ground work perfectly until the nade makes a difference. Nancy down on the ground. They try to get a double tag with those nades. Gonna miss. And Yogi will go in for that pickup. Instant medkit coming on through. These boys on the side of GODLIKE, they have to eventually get off the roof.
Good use of the UAV light for now. Their glue walls almost indestructible for the time being, and they use that time to heal up. GODLIKE are once again ready for round 2. But the same can be said for GOW because they're all healed up, and the only person who could probably throw a spanner in the works is that one lone survivor from KAGENDRA who's already moving away from this house, way away from the action.
Who will he end up engaging with? GOW will not have to do anything for the time being. Yogi has a great position on the roof. The center point of this circle is going to give GODLIKE a massive advantage as they can still hold on to that high ground for quite a little bit. But GOW will not give them an easy workable angle. Kiba shows his position, backstab, opportunity, and he'll just easily step away with that one.
Yeah, Marco got greedy with that one. He's trying to go after Kiba. He's trying to go after one single point, but GODLIKE Esports are actually hunting him down as a pack right now. This might just backfire if they can't finish him off in time, but they do. They don't give GOW much time to hunt them down and third party them, and these guys have reset again. They're ready for the 4v4.
Demon down on the ground, beautiful by Nancy. Charge buster straight to the head. Yogi breaks his ankle, looks for Dian, tries to get in through the window, gets there in time, and GOW down by one player. 3v4, Dian trades one out. Nancy again drops a GOW player. Nancy with the big plays. Marco hops on in as well. Two more players on the side of GODLIKE trying to make a difference, and Death shows up. And now a 1v1. They've set this up perfect. Dian down on the ground, no save possible. And Nancy wants the clutch play, and Death says no. GOW walks away with Booyah number 1.
GOW set up that bait perfectly. Nancy thought that they were going to go for the revive. He tries to rush in prematurely, but these guys were ready. Dian was already had his crosshairs placed over there, and Nancy falls right into that trap. GOW win the Booyah in the first game.
What a play. Death with a jump shot through the window, connecting with the head. That instant shutdown with the M590 was a big play. Let's take a look at the final shot of the match again. The final moments were just absolutely chaotic. And as the invasion came through for Dian, he still manages to get a knock before getting put down onto the ground. Death finds Marco through the window, setting up a 1v1. And Nancy just did not see the M590 coming out of that blue wall. Fantastically played by Southeast Asia. Fantastically played by GOW.
Great 1v2 by Death in the end to finish it off. I really thought that GODLIKE would have had this in the bag, but that jump shot, that changed everything.
Oh yeah.
GOW, they get the Booyah in the first game with a lot of eliminations to their name. I think this is going to be a big 30-pointer game, if not somewhere even more than that. But credit where it's due. Even KAGENDRA and GODLIKE Esports had a massive game with plenty of eliminations to their name. Overall, these three teams control the lobby really well. But it's GOW who walk away with the bragging rights.
No doubt at all, Crips. I think it was a phenomenal matchup, and I am super delighted that the Indian squads are not just keeping up, but almost stealing it away from the Southeast Asian teams. GODLIKE Esports did very well on this matchup, kind of falling off here with the points. You can see a 5-point difference, but obviously the Booyah is a factor there as well. GODLIKE Esports almost measured up to the eliminations of GOW and overtake them, but of course it was just a smooth play towards the end, and Death was on fire. In fact, the whole squad on the side of GOW just played that perfectly. KAGENDRA stepping it up, only 23 points for themselves, but that's not going to be something they complain about, because that's still massive when you compare to the rest of the leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at the difference in these points. 30 for GW, 25 for GODLIKE, 23 for KAGENDRA. That is fine, but after that, there's a sharp dip. Reflex at 17, Nightmare at 13, and everybody else below them is at single digits or lesser. So that is some really good domination from these top 3 teams. They were a really top-heavy kind of teams over here. But 9 eliminations from Death alone, that is amazing. I mean, the stats say that the AWMY was his weapon of choice, but we saw what he could do with the M590s as well. That clutch was phenomenal.
And not just in the final bout up against the players of GODLIKE, we also saw it a little bit earlier on, and his roof play getting up on top. His team almost was annihilated. Knock after knock came through. They had to survive that, and this guy put an end to the run. Got a triple off of that engagement with that vantage point, and he was the difference maker in that battle, as well as the final one, gifting the Booyah to Vietnam, to Southeast Asia. And this is what we want to see out there, just super heated up battle between these teams down to the very end. Nero Oscar, Chrono A124. Obviously, the Chrono came in clutch a couple of times for them, but the biggest difference maker, once again, has to be what Deanne did, right? That A124 and the timing of that pop as they went in for the rush time and time again in this matchup was just incredible, Crips.
Yeah, he basically makes sure that nobody else can use their dashes, nobody else can use their chrono shields, and it all comes down to timing. The moment you activate that A124, you have a tiny window, which gives you an advantage, and if you don't finish that fight in that tiny window, you will basically be fighting on your opponent's terms. So it's really important that he times it well, and he did that. But take a look at the difference in the damage numbers of all these players. Death clearly the MVP with 9 eliminations and 4,000 damage. And RIP, while he's supposed to be the designated rusher alongside Demon, they weren't able to do all that much. They have similar numbers in terms of damage and eliminations, but it was clearly Death who was raining that from above and saving his team from certain death.
Yeah, Death and Deanne wouldn't be able to... Okay, Deanne, we can keep him out because he's the grenadier of the squad. But Death wouldn't be able to get this many eliminations without the assist of RIP and Demon. Usually the two players who are, you know, up in front, trying to disable their opponents, getting those initial tags first, and then Death just shows up from the back, finishes the job, and they move on to their next victims out there on the battlefield. Very clean maneuvers out of GOW. It's surprising, right? Because the level of tenacity that they're showing us here just means that they're in here for a good day. Like I said, GOW Vietnam, they can blow hot and cold. Today is a really hot day, as it seems.
Yep, and it all comes down to one individual being there at the right place at the right time.
Yes.
Like if it wasn't for Death pulling off that triple elimination to save them from being destroyed in the mid-game itself while they were entering Brasilia, they wouldn't even be in the top 5. But Death comes in clutch at the right moment, saves his team while the rest of his players were struggling. And because of that, GW was able to get inside the top 3, and from there on, they just have to wait for all the other teams to make their move and adjust accordingly.
Yeah, I mean, this is where we really need to see if or not GOW can keep this up as well, right? Because if there's one thing Vietnam knows very well, is the curse of the Booyah, where they score a massive Booyah, and in the very following game, we see them eliminated in the 12th spot or very early in the matchup. So if that one continues to plague them, even here in FFMAI, I will not know what to say, but it'll be hilarious to see that happen. It will give an opportunity to the rest of the teams who are trying to catch up. It will give an opportunity to teams like GODLIKE and KAGENDRA sneaking away that spot from them as well.
Hey man, I mean, if GW get eliminated early on, then everybody will be thankful for it. And there is a possibility that they will clash against IQOO-TSG for this one. So yeah, if they can survive that onslaught, I think they're going to have a good game overall. NG Pros are going to be very isolated in Observatory, and I have a feeling that they will actually stick to it. They have the tendency to split over Observatory and Graveyard, so NG Pros will actually stick to what they are saying. GODLIKE Esports never deviate away from peak, so they're not lying about their drop location. I can't say the same for Headhunters because they tend to split between Factory, Pochinok, and Mars Electric.
Yeah, like I said, man, bowl of salt, right, with this preferred drop spots. I'm expecting to see a lot of difference out there once these teams kind of hop on into this matchup from Group A. Obviously, they're not going to try to go in for a straight-on hot drop onto one of the teams off of Group B, but you never know. You know, when you are desperate for points and you know that you want to unnerve some of these teams who are already fairly nervous, right? Because it's their final day, it's their final 5 games, and if you can mess up their mojo, if you can mess up their rhythm, then they are not going to be able to take away a spot from you in the top 10. We could just see strategies like that come through as well. I will not put it past these teams.
There is a distinct possibility that they will engage in said strategies. They will engage in a little bit of shenanigans over here where they try to disrupt their opponents, maybe even dismay them. But there is a pretty good chance that if the teams actually stick to their drop locations, some of them will end up walking away wounded, and then the rest of the game they're just going to be limping around, going from vending machine to vending machine, trying to get all the cash to get their players back. And that's a massive advantage that all these teams who don't engage in all these early battles, they will get the cash to use their tactical markets and upgrade their weapons much faster if they have enhanced hammers. I mean, if at all they use them. So far I haven't seen many teams use it. They will get the opportunities to get their weapons back up and, you know, be ready for the last game.
Absolutely, man. And of course, the opportunity to find a little bit of repair in their approach to the competition needs to be applied here by Reflex United. We've seen a lot of potential from this Bangladeshi squad, but unfortunately, it's not translating when it comes to their placement points. Surprisingly, their engagements are quite solid, right? They can get into a good fight. They can walk away with some decent points. But getting deep into the circle has been a challenge for Reflex since yesterday up until today. If they don't fix this one, it's going to be really tough to see them in week 2.
Yep, that is unfortunately the truth for Reflex United. I would have said the same for Rising Gods, but in the previous game, they seemed to at least make it into the circle. They weren't able to fight their way ahead of it, but at least they were not struggling with the rotations. They were not getting caught out in the middle of nowhere. So that's some sort of an improvement. Reflex United, they had a bunch of eliminations early on as well. Again, would have been nice if they were able to back up those eliminations with more placement points as well.
Yeah, you think NG is gonna go out cracking a booyah here this time around, huh?
If not necessarily a booyah, I know for a fact that Bermuda is one of those maps where if they realize that, okay, we're not going to be able to win this, we don't have the position, NG, they activate this this rage switch, where if they are not going to win, they make sure that they take out everyone in the process. If I don't win this, you don't win this. It's like a self-destruct queue, you know? Yeah, they play dirty. They activate this hyper-aggressive elimination switch, and it's like a switch in personality. If they don't win, they're going to go out swinging, and they're going to go out with a bunch of elimination points. And that's the best thing about NG Pros. They know that, hey, if I'm not going to make it, at least I can just throw my life away in order to get a bunch of elimination points.
I don't know if or not I'm a big fan of that playstyle, but you know what?
I am an advisable playstyle.
I am a very big fan of the teams who are not really doing well in the competition taking some hot drops against some of the big boys, right? Making a name for themselves, because if you can disrupt their plays, even if you do not make it through to week 2, we will remember you. And that is a big thing, because the audience are going to remember you. Everybody's going to be sending their good vibes your way to see you in these competitions a little bit more in the future. So I think it's a good thing. Of course, especially if you are struggling down at the bottom, and if it's confirmed that you are not going to get into the top 10. If you still have a chance, yeah, I would not play that risk.
I mean, you only go for those kind of risky playstyles when you know that it's an uphill battle that you're not going to be able to win. So you might as well take everyone else down if you're not going to win. But Bermuda is one of those maps where everybody does have a very methodical playstyle, and real estate is going to be super important. So I think teams like Headhunters might also have a nice time if they don't get wiped out right off the bat, if they don't get completely destroyed in their hot drop. I think they're going to have a good time as well. Now, whether or not they will actually do this, we will witness once we hop into the game, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for the second game of the day. We are flying over the skies of Bermuda.
As we head on into map number 2, we get to see if not the adjustments will come through here for some of these squads who are still struggling to find their way. Yesterday, Headhunters as well as Nightmare Esports showed us that they can play a good Bermuda. Will they be able to do that here today as Group A hops on into the fray looking for these points as well? We'll have to see. The instant hot drop that's going to be pulling away our attention is the play on the side of GOW, and Demon barely gives us enough time to see the drop spots of the rest of the squads here before he gets into a little bit of a pickle. IQOO, on the other hand, dropping one.
Chris dipping in and out of that chrono shield so well. He does get one knock, but Showo, he's gonna make things much harder. He tries to go for the res, but can't pull it off in time. He has to stick to his guns once again. Kid provides some good backup over here. That leaves Alif all by himself. And he can't even escape that much because there's NG Pros on the other side. He is close to a vending machine, but does he have enough cash?
Marvel just managed to pull a revival through on his buddy before getting taken out of the equation. Headhunters are hanging on here. We'll get to catch up with their action in a little bit. Not looking too good as Kunal gets sprayed down as well. Headhunters having their heads hunted by Team Reflex, who seem pretty flexible in this first matchup. Takla on the hot rush, looking for Divine, looking for his head. And the squad will obviously survive, all thanks to that revival. The player will drop far away, hoping and praying that nobody finds him off of the skies.
Meanwhile, NG Pros, they've got some competition, and they're already putting that competition down on the ground. Somebody decided to challenge them near Graveyard, and they will bury their opponents right there. It's the most appropriate place to do so. RG, on the other hand, quite a lot of drop fights over here. They're going up against GOAT
What will the GOATs be able to do in a situation like this? RG, they do have them surrounded. High ground advantage to RG as well, Sujal. Opportunity to find those tags. Megs, beautiful position. Raptor opens up the fight first. Manik, sliver of hell. Then Raptor takes advantage. Thanks to the LMG, great number of spray sent his way. And the flanking positions are perfect for the side of RG. Catching up the goals one after the other. It's biryani time, baby.
Sheesh! Shadin also goes down. They used the Cassie Electrotherapy for a second, almost went back to full HP, but it did not help at all. Luckily, Rexon is elsewhere on the map, somewhere near the vending machine, so he's going to be able to plug one of his teammates back into it and get the revive. But that is obviously not the ideal start you were looking for. Back towards the dam area, you've got Yogi trying to take pot shots at Chris. Not connecting all that many shots. Allows Chris an opportunity to slip away.
Godlike with the 4 eliminations, looking decently strong here as they try to track the players. OGTSG managing to back away for the time being. We'll catch up with them in a bit. There's NMR, the Nightmare squad, walking around. Nightmare Esports, 2 eliminations so far. And it looks like Clock Tower is gonna be their safe haven for the time being as they back away looking for more loot and coins.
Nightmare Esports finally get to breathe a sigh of relief. After the early fights, they are given quite a lot of space to work with, so they can loot up nicely. Oh no, Chris. He thought he escaped, but unfortunately NG Pros find him.
Unfortunate, but that's exactly how the cookie crumbles here in FFMAI. The target here for GOW next is going to be Manu. NG will be able to get their player out of there, all thanks to the jump pad. And GOW 5 eliminations strong. Oh, that jump would have annihilated the chance of Ashifi death opportunity. Not too far away. And it looks like GOW is going to be hunting Redcliffe in a little bit.
Yeah, and GOW have been going around the map. They weren't even close to Graveyard when they dropped, but then they heard those gunshots. They heard the fight between NG Pros and IQOO OGxTSG. So they go ahead and try to third party, and guess what? They are awarded for their efforts. And now Ashifi, he's just trying to fly around. He's been on the run for a while now.
GOW going outside the circle. On for the hunt, and look at the commitment. Every single player. They're gonna get
Yeah.
an extra one, but at the vending machine. Question is, Ashifi, no coins in your pocket, brother. As Death will get close enough to him, the flank is obviously gonna get GOW an extra point here.
Yeah, and look at the amount of effort GOW are putting in for every single point. 3 eliminations for Death already. And they were chasing them to the ends of the earth. I think he took like some 2, maybe 3 launch pads from one place to the other. And he was just flying all the time, and all that movement still can't save him.
GOW back and forth. Ooh, Tennyson with the tension. Yogi putting it on him. BSK, MNE2B. Neither one giving them that knock. But a GOAT is on the menu here for Godlike Esports. 4 eliminations strong. They've got the high ground. And the GOATs have to rotate around them. They're trying to put a decent distance, but the jump pad will get them a little bit closer. Backstab position, Godlike. They are on a hunt as Rexon gets dropped. Sharon will get caught. Grenade launcher comes out as well, and Eco 7 finds the connection.
2 eliminations confirmed. Yogi has eyes on Tennyson. He relays the information to his team, and Eco punishes Tennyson once again. But Rexon, he's just been on a mission to get his teammates back up online. He's just been reviving them left, right, and center. The question is, how much longer can he keep this up?
That is a good question, Godlike. Ooh, not going for a decent circle, catching up with their buddy. Looking for more points. Manik will be spotted. But Godlike just unable to find a easy knock onto him just yet. Will catch up with their buddy Yogi. Was comfortable inside the circle. Has a jump pad on his side as well. So these boys are going to stay put for a little bit as we check out the next circle here. Nightmare Esports crawling in from Rimna.
Yep. And keep in mind, Nightmare Esports also were responsible for the elimination of Redcliffe. They got the eliminations onto those final 2 members. Happened off screen, but it's a nice start for them nonetheless. GOW once again just hunting down everybody that they can, but this time they are up against the hunters themselves. Will the hunter become the hunted? Can they turn the tides? That's a nice 3-2 split for the side of Headhunters. Across the Bhima Sakti strip, GOW trying to isolate these fights, and Demon trying to go for the flank.
What an what a
He's
nade.
already up there. That nade would have been lovely, no? But they don't need the nades when they've got these shotguns. And take a look at RIP. He's just so good. 2 fast eliminations back to back.
Uh-oh, Godlike wants to play, and GOW responds. Yogi, sharpshooter from the top, shot down easily. And GOW saying, don't mess with us, but Godlike wants a fight. Jump pad straight in. Lightning zone called out as well. Bolt maker for the play, and Godlike going in for the rush.
Marco leading the charge, tries to go for the spray onto RIP, but gets blocked by that glue wall. And now he reunites with Nancy. They both are playing inside the house, hoping to draw their opponents in. But GOW are not gonna bite that bait. Eco is ready with the grenade launcher. He's hoping that somebody walks into that trap, and RIP almost wants to go for it, but he gets the knock onto Marco instead. Marco, before he goes down, at least knocks Demon, but the res is already underway. Can Nancy stop this? No, he can't. All 4 players of GOW back up on their feet, and Godlike, they are chipping away, but all their efforts are going in vain. The freeze bombs are gonna force them out of this corner, and the moment they do, Dian is ready once again. He freezes Nancy to death, blows apart the other one, and GOW are making quick work of Godlike Esports over here. It's just Eco trapped in a corner, can't do much, and he also will meet his maker.
Godlike are hanging on for their dear lives. One more survivor got out of there in the nick of time. The sliver of health though.
KAGENDRA?
Yogi has to sit and meditate for the rest of this lobby as Godlike gets eliminated in 9th spot.
You said that the Vietnamese curse might just be activated over here, but that curse was transferred to Godlike instead. A phenomenal performance in the previous game, but now they are one of the first teams to get eliminated. But the Vietnamese curse might just go on if KAGENDRA can activate it once again. They were the ones who stole that finish away from GOW. Will GOW respond in kind? They try to go for the revenge, but Jojo, nice shot. Death confirmed. And now it's a 3v4.
KAGENDRA
GOW. Yeah, they're falling back down the hill.
Yeah, they need to do me a favor and take GOW out, because GOW just took out my #1 prediction, which I'm not too happy about. And as they run away, KAGENDRA does have the circle on their side, but obviously Team Boosters on the side of GOW, so they're not going to sweat the damage off of the blue circle just yet. Unfortunate for GODLIKE, but that's exactly how the cookie crumbles here in FFMAI. This is the kind of lobby where you cannot slack off even for a moment, even if you are GODLIKE in the world of Free Fire.
Rexan has been responsible for getting his teammates back up online so many times before, but now he's the first one to bite the dust. Still, it's a fair fight, 3v3 on either side. Dennison is going to get pummeled with nades. Can he get away from there? Sharon is already trying to get away. He tries to get caught midair, but he leaves Dennison behind, who's going to get targeted by every person on GOW.
GG, man. I mean, GOW just ganking on him all at the same time. Deep freezes, lethals, everything tossed on his head, and on top of that, setting 2 players to finish the work. Headhunters, on the other hand, gonna get caught out here. Bumping into the Nightmare squad. Nightmare Esports looking for the knocks. Will find Arch first. Down on the ground, Headhunters just 2 eliminations so far. And the numbers from Nightmare, they pop up. And Marvel pops out.
Nightmare Esports also have been having a nice little time over here. 9 eliminations to their name already. Surely it's not as dominant as what GOW are doing, but most of their frags were off screen, so we didn't exactly have the chance to look at what they've been doing. But for now, they control the the western periphery of the circle really well. Meanwhile, back in Clock Tower, you've got KAGENDRA who are trying to move in, but they're being gate-kept by NG Pros.
And G7 eliminations, and a pretty decent defensive spot to play around with here on this Clock Tower. As they look for that reposition, they have to be careful as Headhunters pull up right beside them here. Obviously, Headhunters will want a defensive spot for themselves, and NG understands that, making their way up to the top. And Manu, what a shot off of that VSK. Will find a Headhunter, drops him on the ground, and it will force the rest of the Headhunter squad to go in here for the pickup, which gives NG a little bit of extra time to breathe.
Yeah, NG, they're not just breathing easily, they are breathing down the necks of their opponents. They can put so much pressure onto anyone else who's not in the zone already. So yeah, sure, Headhunters might have lost a member, but at least the remaining 3 members are already in the zone. They don't have to move in any further. They are more likely to face KAGENDRA before they, run into NG again. So yeah, NG can, for now, enjoy their position in this grey house and take pot shots at anyone who dares to peek out of their hiding holes. It's like they're playing a game of whack-a-mole.
I'm sure they'd love to whack-a-mole, but this is chaos about to turn into pandemonium. As we approach the 14th minute mark, barely any bit of land out there to conquer. Most of the defensive spots have already been taken up, but 8 more teams are alive and kicking. That just basically means there's not enough room for all of these guys. Once we see that next circle, this is gonna turn really ugly. But Nightmare!
Wow!
The claw! No hair, no problem. He's got those nades.
That was not a nade. That was a nuke. Single-handedly eliminating Nightmare Esports. That is a big one. I'm sure he said Kobe before he tossed it.
Absolutely, man. Thanks to the chat for telling me Takla means baldy. Oi! Anubhav! Yep. Headshot. The end down on the ground, but easy pickup for GOW. All they need to do is call duck top 1. On the opposite side, NG looking to find GOW, who has the prime defensive spot in the next circle. They don't even need to move. They don't need to wiggle. All they need to do is aim and shoot.
Yeah, they need to repel away the invaders. Keep everybody who's trying to encroach into their territory the hell away from them. Lightning Zone activated. That's gonna put a spanner in the works for everyone who was vying for this compound. But GOW, while they are in the center and while they enjoy this lovely position, there is also a curse. They're gonna get targeted by everyone. Demon now trying to take on the entire squad of NG Pros by himself, but Cropsy puts up that UAV light. That should reinforce their glue walls just for a tiny bit, but the UAV is shot down, and now they have to traverse through this treacherous passage that preys upon the weak, and NG Pros are about to run into Headhunters on the other side of that staircase. Headhunters realize that that's the wrong trajectory. They changed their course, they changed their direction instantly. That will not save them from GOW, who now have their hands full, and it's a shooting gallery. KAGENDRA, they are also trying to take pots out at NG Pros, but it's gonna turn into basically buffet stealing. Who's gonna get the final shot? Who's gonna get that elimination point? KAGENDRA lose their battle against Bangladesh top one, but GOW continue pummeling them down. The nade from Takla once again. He is a monster with those grenades.
No hair, no problem. My nades do the talking. What a bomber by Takla. And GOW still is going to be a pain in their backs, though. Manu down on the ground, but an easy pickup. Man has got the M79. His is going to be crucial to be kept alive here in order to make sure GOW doesn't get out of control. Those nades need to come in strong. Top one, on the other hand, one final survivor to keep him and the squad alive and kicking. Reflex, the one's on fire. 17 eliminations. Unbelievable run here for Reflex.
Man, I know for a fact that GOW don't have Steffi Graffiti available, so in case Takla decides to toss a couple of nades in that house, GOW are done for. Reawake. Can he actually reawaken his fighting spirit? They're being chased by GOW, who will be forced to relinquish that house and come into the open, but Reflex are trying to beat them to the punch. They're trying to race into the center of the zone. NG Pros now have taken command of the high ground, and they look to repel away everybody who's trying to get in and encroach upon their territory. Will they be able to do so? Because they don't have the angles. Their opponents are right underneath them, and if they want to take shots at them, they will have to expose themselves to GOW as well.
India, Bangladesh, Vietnam, who walks away with the booyah here on game 2. Bangladesh, Reflex looking really solid, and they hold on to a perfect spot here, taking away the line of sight off of the players on the side of NG. GOW perhaps could put them in a little bit of a pickle, but Reflex not gonna look to get into this engagement up against GOW too early. But will GOW force that out with the rotation? We'll have to wait and see. NG still in a potential spot to cut off their rotation. That makes GOW second guess their maneuver, and they'll just wait for the circle to draw out their opponents. Riptide Rhythm gonna be, no, it's the narrow actually. Plushy sent out, finds the marker on a couple of these GOW players as NG finally takes a step towards them.
Reinforced glue walls to help them come close. Cropsy and Anubhav need to strike together. Manu trying to provide overwatch from afar. But all these angles, they still can't find a clean way to take shots at GOW.
Quickly just reparking his car there, Yan. Just making sure it doesn't get wet in the rain. Man just washed it. You know how it works, man. It only rains after you wash your car. Unfortunate, beautiful.
Oh my god!
Anubhav! Straight into enemy territory, puts himself in harm's way. Anubhav hops on in. Corpse gets the knock. Turned out by Dian. And NG will put an end to GOW. But the numbers thin down. Reflex gets a easy booyah off of that. Smart play by Bangladesh. Massive game by Reflex.
What a way to come back on day 2. They were struggling so much yesterday, but in the game number 1, they walk away with double-digit eliminations, and now in the second game itself, they walk away with a booyah. Is this the same team that we saw yesterday? They seem like they've been reinvigorated. Their spirits, they have been rekindled. What a way to change your approach. What a way to mount a comeback.
Ooh, I mean, you can say that again, man. It was a fantastic play out of Reflex yesterday. Like you said, wasn't too convincing, and we did mention that their engagements were looking slightly better than the placement points. They needed to find a way to get into deeper into these circles, and they did exactly that in this game. And not only did they show that they can play the game of survival, get deeper into these circles, but they were picking up some solid numbers on the way there, and I say that is bloody impressive. Bangladesh can definitely be proud of Reflex and their performance in this matchup. I mean, 19 eliminations. My, oh my, what a game.
What a game indeed. They were just a couple away from establishing that 20 bomb. That would have been ridiculously good as well. But this is still really, really impressive to go up against GOW and NG Pros, not only handling your own team, but also timing your opponents when they are at their most vulnerable state. That shows how good their spatial awareness is. That shows they know exactly when to fight and when not to. They know when to tuck their tails away and hide. And they picked a lovely spot over there. All four of them just huddled up behind that tiny little corner, behind that little crate, and they pop out when their opponents are at their most vulnerable. Great performance by Reflex United.
Yesterday, Reflex, they were a mid-card squad, sitting down somewhere around the mid part of the leaderboard overall. But obviously, it was a situation where Group A wasn't in play that made them look pretty bad. But now with Group A in here, in the mix, Reflex showing that they are not sleeping on the competition. They are here to rise up for sure. 31 solid points for a massive leap up the leaderboard. If they continue this, finding the qualifier into week 2, not going to be impossible. GOW showing that they do have the caliber to do that as well. A booyah in the previous game, getting deep into the circle in the second match and walking away with the second spot. 17 massive eliminations, just 2 less than Reflex. GOW has to be proud as well.
GOW spent the first half of the game just hunting down everybody towards that northern and eastern part of the map. They were going from Katulisutwa to the observatory area to graveyard, just hunting down anybody that they can find. And even in the end, they had that central position, which allowed them to get a lot of elimination points. In fact, they might have just eliminated NG Pros if it wasn't for the UAV lights that saved them. Headhunters also, to some extent, contributed to NG Pros staying alive because they drew away the attention of GW from NG Pros. So, kudos to Headhunters, but they only walk away with 8 points. But in doing so, they ended up becoming meat shields for NG Pros. KAGENDRA as well, 13 points for them. Still a pretty good game overall, which keeps them at the 3rd position in the overall standings. But GOW become the first team to cross that 50-point mark.
I mean, yesterday, Nepal made some noise. Today, Bangladesh is making some noise. And Reflex sitting down between 2 Southeast Asian squads right now, GOW as well as KAGENDRA, GODLIKE Esports. You know, this game wasn't as massive, but of course, it is an opportunity to play recovery on Nextera later on. But overall, we also need to look at the bottom side of the leaderboard, right? Some of these teams who are not waking up just yet. If they're in Group A, that's not really a huge issue. But for those in Group B, and yeah, I am looking at squads here like the Headhunters. They need to just wake up a little bit more. It's their final opportunity here today, Krebs. They have to pull in these points.
Yeah, Headhunters definitely need to step up. 18 points isn't exactly bad, but they need a lot more if they want to build up a buffer and make sure that none of the teams tomorrow will overtake them and leave them behind.
Rising Gods as well. But of course, before we go and continue on with that conversation, Reflex Takla, the man who had a mission, and his mission was to annihilate all of his opponents he came across. Massive damage, 3,256, 7 eliminations, 7 assists. No doubt at all he was a valuable player there. With the A124, he got up close and personal with the Alvaro and Beaston. He made sure those grenades made contact. But Takla has hair. I've got a problem with this.
I think he took that name too literally. He's got more hair than I have, even facial hair. Very impressive beard too. But here's the surprising part. I've never seen the grenade show up as the primary weapon. Like, even if a person is an amazing grenadier, he gets a squad wipe with a grenade, there's still an actual weapon, an actual gun that shows up as their primary weapon. It's been a while since I've seen just a grenade, just a throwable utility show up as their primary thing. Yes, sure, he's got the Alvaro and the Beaston equip. He's supposed to be the designated grenadier of the team, but I didn't think it would overshadow his gunplay.
And no chrono this time round, no time turner. Cassie gets pulled in here. They had the electrotherapy working, charging up Tassin in many of those situations. You saw the Valiant dash working perfectly for him. The numbers of the eliminations we'll have to obviously focus on a little bit later on as well. Tassin wants to be seen out there, but the numbers that he's bringing to the squad needs to be amped up as well. And 8 eliminations, he serves up hot. not too much on the damage, but the man is absolutely clean on those executions.
Yeah, those hot potatoes that he was lobbing right underneath that opponent's feet, they led to some massive amount of destruction. Crazy performance from Takla. I mean, I just wish we saw those grenades for real instead of just reading them in the elimination feed. I'm sure they would have been a truly spectacular sight to witness. But also kudos to Tasin, because he was doing really well over here. Those close range battles, he was able to juggle multiple opponents, make sure that he isolates those gunfights by navigating between those maze of glue walls. So great performance by him as well.
Yeah, no doubt at all. We do expect them to go crazy in the competition. And this is that opportunity for them to show everyone exactly what Bangladesh is made of in the world of Free Fire. We've been hearing a lot of noise. We just haven't been seeing it in perfect application. And there's been a lot of questions, right? In the chat on YouTube, everybody's constantly questioning, why does Bangladesh have so many fans? Well, if they continue playing like this, we understand exactly why and how they got there.
Exactly. And it's not just the fact that you are playing well, it's the fact that you weren't playing well yesterday and you made up for it today.
Yeah, fair
that
enough.
comeback story is much more impressive to look at than just seeing a team dominate right from the get-go.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, there is a opportunity for some of these teams who aren't really picking up a lot of points to climb up as well, right? We take a look at teams like GOAT Esports, OGTSG. They are, at the moment, the bottom feeders. I wasn't expecting them. Even Bangladesh top 1 is currently at the bottom with just 13 points to their name. We need to see them step up in this next match.
Definitely. The opportunities are running out for the teams of Group B. They have just 4 more games left. And definitely, Reflex United have basically propelled themselves out of danger. But all the other teams like Rising God, Red Cliff, Headhunters, they still need to step up. And given how dangerous Nextera can be, I think it's going to be the perfect chance for teams like Headhunters to take control of Intellect Center and make sure that they have a good start to this game at the very least. Although I am kind of concerned for Top 1 and Red Cliff. If they're all going to get into a 3-way clash on Zipway, oh boy, it's going to be yet another game where they lose out on points.
And it's going to be another game where Reflex says thank you very much for the extra points in the game early on as they set themselves ablaze. So this is a great opportunity for Reflex if the Zipway 3-way battle happens up against Red Cliff as well as Top 1. Rushdown as well has got NG dropping by. This is not going to look good for the squad if they keep this up, because in the grand scheme of things, NG showed up with a lot of promise, but I don't think they are throwing in those eliminations enough to climb the leaderboard in a solid way just yet. They are one of the bottom feeders as of this point of time. We need to see them step it up here.
Yep, and Nextera is actually a very difficult place to step it up, because the way these teams play Nextera, at least the way these Indian teams play Nextera, they go for a scorched earth approach. If they don't get the compound of their choice, they make sure nobody else gets it.
Oh, yeah.
So I am really happy with how they've adapted their entire playstyle. I'm sure a lot of these teams must have been watching the Free Fire World Series as well, and they've figured out how to work around the Nextera map. And it used to be a problem for a lot of these teams, but they have improved quite a lot. Just month on month, we're seeing that level go up. So I want to see what they have in store for us today.
Well, what's in store for us for now is the predictions that we have thrown onto the board here, Crips. Let's take a look and see who you think is going to be walking away with the booyah. KAGENDRA, GOW, totally understand. Nonstop has been waking up as well. I think they represent India in a massive way. I, on the other hand, am looking forward to the awakening of the GOATs, all right? Because so far, the whole lobby has been enjoying a pretty decent biryani courtesy of the GOATs, but it is time the GOATs turned into a monster on their own, because clawing themselves out of the very bottom, I guess they could wait like Reflex for day 2, but I would prefer not to see that for them.
Honestly, I can't take much pride in my predictions. I've gone for very safe picks. KAGENDRA, GW, I know that they have massive amounts of firepower. They could do well in any map. I have picked up Nonstop for the same reason as well, but also because the same reason I mentioned in Bermuda, if Nonstop don't get the compound of their choice, they make sure nobody else gets it. They use the same logic over here in Nextera as well. It's the same mentality. That's why I've picked them up. Although I'm not sure if any of these teams can get the booyah. I've just picked them up because honestly, I was scared to make a bolder prediction.
That's absolutely fair enough, right? I think your predictions were spot on, because it looks like the the tenacity out of these squads are just... I'm confused
It's a
as
tad
to
bit
how they can
higher.
keep this up, right? GOW back to back, this is unreal. Like I said, hot and cold kind of squad. Today seems to be a super hot day. 2 matches back to back where they've done phenomenally well for themselves. KAGENDRA kind of slacked off in the second matchup. I do expect them to wake up as well. So I totally see exactly where the prediction is coming from. And KAGENDRA at the end of the day also is looking for that #1 spot finisher by the time we end the 6 matches of the day. At least they get to hold on to it for a while before, you know, the other squads like Avida wake up again.
Oh yeah, I mean, we will be seeing Avida tomorrow as well, and these teams better get a good enough buffer today, because even if they're safe for now, they will be left behind in the dust tomorrow. So let's see whether or not they can build up that buffer. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to reach halfway point of the day. We're about to go live with Game 3. Next year is gonna be up on your screen in just a couple of moments.
Next Terra time. Game 3, which means it's the final match for Mustachio and Crips here on the caster's desk. It has been an absolute pleasure bringing you guys the broadcast of the day, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, at least the first 3 games. Lucifer and Azora will be joining you guys for the final 3 games of the day. They'll be lighting up the mics in a little bit, but for the time being, let's see exactly who lights up this battlefield with a couple of hot drops. You know we love a few of them, and top 1 is off to a fantastic start, saying hello to Headhunters at the Intellect Center.
Headhunters thought they would be alone over here, but top 1, like we expected, are not going to go to its Zipway. They go to its Intellect Center instead, so that's going to be an interesting top clash. Meanwhile, we also have IQOO OG over here trying to go up against Nightmare Esports. Kid hopping in and out of the windows, hoping to juke his opponents, but Farhan, he spots him, leaves away at 1 HP. Kid can't get the finish on him. Oh my god, such a narrow margin. And now he's gonna pay for it, because Farhan managed to give enough space for his teammates to heal up once more.
IQOO Kid gets the headshot. And Gopu not looking too OP in that engagement, and the Kid will get traded right back out here by... Oh, actually, it's Kid is the one that gets the double on Farhan. The mini Uzi got whipped out. I thought it was Farhan that walked in there with the SMG, but the Kid showing him that he is the adult in that conversation. Redcliffe backing away from NG at Zipway here, as this little early clash looks like it's not going to continue on for long.
Redcliffe somewhat split up. Mehdi doesn't know that Aztec has eyes on him, and he walks away with just a sliver of damage. That's another opportunity for Mehdi to make this comeback. Will he be able to win that duel? We will never know. Nope, he doesn't. Aztec gets the better of him. Meanwhile, Hitman is playing Duck Hunt. He's shooting down targets from the sky.
And he seems to be quite the sharpshooter. Gets an extra duck. I hope he has a beagle to retrieve that for him, because that's quite a distance away. 4 eliminations. IQ on the other hand, with just 3 on their side. Looking for the numbers of the Nightmare squad. And Nightmare Esports just waiting for the backup off of their revived squad members. So Gopu OP and Hitman just going to be hanging back for a little bit here.
In early silence. I'm kind of uncomfortable with this amount of silence. These guys were fighting tooth and nail just a second ago, but now they are waiting for an overextension, and that's the opportunity they were looking for.
Jump from the back, not the front. That's the lesson there. Nightmare, on the other hand, will quickly back away. They've got a vending machine here to mess around with, so they're not too excited about walking away from this compound just yet. They're still well within the next safe zone. So they're going to be camping around this area for a little bit longer. Problem is, they've got company that is so irritating. They've been trying to get rid of them for a little while now. And Redcliffe go OP up against Mehdi. Just got the vector. Oh, beautiful rush in there. Valiant dash. No glue walls to break down, except the hopes and dreams of Mehdi in this round.
Leg. Oh no, he's trapped in there now. A single grenade could be his undoing, and it blows up right under his feet. No, he tries to dash away at the last second. Still not enough. Nightmare Esports, they know that somebody's going to make a play for the vending machine, and they do get Arjun. But Arjun did his job. He managed to get the res on one of his teammates before he finally bit the dust.
Arjun doesn't have his current in there, so no doubt he is going to get knocked.
Wait, you I'm actually surprised you know about that movie.
Ta-da!
Well done.
Arjun. No, bro. It's a legendary movie, bro.
Damn. Oh, I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
Jojo on the ground. Hoping for someone to save him. Tassin says, no way, brother. KAGENDRA up against Reflex this time round. KAGENDRA not looking so solid. Reflex looking to continue the run here for their nation. Can they get it done for Bangladesh? A massive day for them would mean a lot. As Keeper gets caught out, Tassin sees him and he takes him right off the map.
That's the end of Jojo and Keeper. Dead and Raz. They have plenty of time to run away, plenty of real estate, plenty of vending machines also available at their disposal. Raz gets the better of them. Two of them back up. But take a look at this. The moment Raz tries to plug in his teammates into the vending machine, Manu shoots him down. So, no, KAGENDRA aren't out of the hot water yet.
Rising gods getting dropped like flies, Sujal.
Kill.
You saw flying Mehdi and top one showing them who's boss in that equation. Unfortunate. The revivals are going to be tough here for RG, but let's see if or not he's got enough coins to make some sort of miracle happen for himself in the squad.
Yeah, but now we're going to reach this awkward mid-game segment where all these teams who have lost their members are going to go up trying to get control of vending machines. And top one, KAGENDRA, these guys are fighting each other. Kiba, he does get one, but in the end, Shobo will be able to put him down and put him out of his misery. And that's exactly what I was talking about, right? Like this, teams like KAGENDRA, teams like IQOO, OGxTSG, all the teams who have lost a couple of their members will try to go for the vending machines. Even Rising Gods try to go for the same, but they can't plug in any of their teammates into vending machines. They have been eliminated.
Yeah, I thought KAGENDRA was gonna rub some mud in the face of top one there in that 1v2 Kiba. Amazing play with the in and out of the time turner, but of course the game of numbers catching up with him. Showo finding that knock. Shotgun not going to miss in a situation like that. Godlike on the other hand, 7 eliminations strong. Looking for the next circle, and so far as we approach the 7-minute mark, only one team has gotten taken out of the equation, and that is a squad from Nepal, Rising Gods. In fact, the only Nepali squad that we've got in this A-B combination today.
That's rather unfortunate. Hopefully they can live up to what GB did yesterday. Meanwhile, as the circle continues to shrink, GODLIKE Esports go towards the boxing ring. NG Pros are already present over here, so are GOAT but they're just taking pot shots at each other from a distance. Nobody ready to go in for the full send just yet. Even IQOO lock horns from distance. Chris gets the knock onto Takla. Mitla trades him out. But again, these are just long-range pot shots. I want to see if they actually go in for the full commitment. Oh, I speak about full commitment, and GODLIKE Esports are actually knocking on the doors. And they want to hunt down the remaining members of NG Pros. Cropsy already out. They're now chasing Anubhav and Aztec, who have separated from each other. They're going in 2 different directions.
Yogi with the AWM could bring a instant shutdown. An end to Aztec's run here. Double tag, triple tag. Nancy getting the job done with a Winchester from up top. Yogi looking through the crosshairs of that AWM. But as Mitla on the side of Reflex goes in for a triple revive. Full squad back in here now. Reflex needs to hope and pray they don't get shot out of the air. GODLIKE on the other hand now on a hunt looking for KAGENDRA. Ref, what a tag by Yogi. But the turnaround is there. Dead finds the connection. Yogi down on the ground, eliminated from the equation. Now GODLIKE has to rethink their position here. Dinoculus scans out 3 players. The 4th one about to join them as well. And GODLIKE wants to commit.
GODLIKE, their commitment looking sharp as ever. Very heavy-hearted about this one. They tried to get the better of Jojo. He's running away, and he turns around for one more knock before IQOO blows him up to smithereens.
IQOO, great play, and down he goes. No nade plays for you guys anymore. GODLIKE, one more opportunity. Pickup is easy as Marco pulls Yogi back in here on that revive. So the run for GODLIKE will not end just yet. Big play coming on through with that revival, and Yogi will make sure the squad continues to survive as Marco just buys a little bit of extra time for them. Yogi will not get caught out, but KAGENDRA will smile for a little bit.
My goodness, there was a time when GODLIKE Esports were the ones who were chasing down KAGENDRA, and KAGENDRA were on the back foot. But look at how they've turned this table. Not only do they win this 2v4 battle, but they also force GODLIKE to take a step back and reconsider their choices.
Headhunters don't have the high ground here. Hunting for those heads from the lower ground. It's not going to be too impossible. Pranto, Alif, Mehdi and Showo all from the side of top one. Just teasing them, trying to bait them out of their defensive spot. But Headhunters just too smart to give that one up. Towards the far end, towards the top side of our map here, you see Redcliffe and a potential engagement with GOAT. As Pranto and Showo take that high ground. Alif joins them, Mehdi soon as well. And this high ground advantage could just make some miracle work here for top one.
Let's see which one of these teams they decide to target first, because they've got targets in every direction. GOW once again pummeling NG Pros down. They seem to be on a mission to exterminate every single member of NG Pros. And they know the general direction of Manu. Now the question is, can he get to a spot where he will be able to revive his teammates? Meanwhile, take a look at Nightmare Esports. They're jumping straight into the mouths of the KAGENDRA. Can they actually make this one work? Goku deploys the glue just in the nick of time, but even the time turner won't save him. Dead invades that chrono shield, gets the better of him. Trade's not possible because Amin and Farhan are too far away. And Dead goes around the other side. He tries to get the better of Amin, but Kiba has been finished off. Amin, Farhan, they get a tiny moment to recompose themselves, get their health back up, but he escapes, takes off into the air.
The gloo UAV keeping the players on the side of Nightmare alive long enough, barricading themselves, allowing those supermets to get the job done, and they turn the tables on KAGENDRA, forcing them to evacuate the compound. Nightmare really not messing around. And what could have been a nightmare of an engagement for them, they turned things around and caused a nightmare for KAGENDRA, who very stealthily got away from that engagement. Easy revival here for Hitman as he brings Goku back in.
And KAGENDRA have been doing that all day against GODLIKE, against Nightmare Esports. They somehow managed to escape with at least a couple of members, and they always have enough cash to revive the others. But for now, top one, the team that took up this position quite a while ago, have so many targets to choose from. They can't even pick which one to shoot. They just shoot at everything that they see, everything that moves. Whether it's GODLIKE, whether it's NG, whether it's Headhunters, they don't care.
VSK in the hand of a GOAT. You know that is potential comedy or disaster. Let's see if Norexan will make sure it's a disaster for his opponents. But unfortunately for the time being, GOATs just don't have a great line of sight just yet. Redcliffe, team members keeping themselves safely hidden away. Top one could be a great disaster here for Manik if it's not too careful with that high ground advantage. A headshot off of these players wouldn't be too impossible, which makes top one a really smart team for taking this position early on. But of course, it's fairly dangerous as well, because all around them, 360, they need to keep an eye out for any backstabbers, which is going to be pretty distracting overall.
Take a look at the circle. Once again, shifting. Unfortunately, they've shared this compound with GODLIKE Esports. One on the bottom. They're good roommates with each other.
But not KAGENDRA and Nightmare can make it out of this one. Outside of the lightning zone, KAGENDRA circling on in. A great shot from IQOO from up top. Amin down on the ground. Farhan! Oh, this is turning out to be a nightmare for the Nightmare squad. They did not anticipate this. IQOO with the initial engagement. KAGENDRA taking advantage of that instant bit of chaos. Raz hopping on in. M79 looking for the shot. Hitman gets hit down. Raz with the AWM up close and personal as Kiba gets dropped to the ground. Instantaneous pickup. KAGENDRA on their feet. But for how long this circle is going to pressure them in a little bit.
Headhunters now have only one direction to focus in. There's nobody behind them, so they can focus all their attention on KAGENDRA. Marvel lands a lovely shot with the Winchester. That's one more player of KAGENDRA down, but they've got the opportunity to revive themselves if the zone doesn't push them away. Meanwhile, they've got Nightmare behind them, so KAGENDRA don't know that there's one more threat lurking in the shadows. And by the time they realize it, it might just be too late, because Amin is tossing nades in there. IQOO Orangutan. This is the moment that they've been waiting for. They've got so many targets to choose from. They can gatekeep both KAGENDRA as well as Nightmare Esports. Meanwhile, Headhunters, take a look at Kunal. Double elimination for him. He wipes out Redcliffe.
This is gonna be the best boxing match you guys ever watch. It's a slugfest for sure. Approaching the 15th minute, 9 more squads alive, and GOW try to make it 8. Top one, shut down one after the other. GOW takes their spots.
Wow.
In the back. That's the 360 danger we talked about. And GOW makes sure they show them exactly what sort of a risk they were running. And now they become the ghost that holds on to that high ground advantage.
Oh, they are not just ghosts. These guys will be making sure that they become the demon incarnates for every other team. They wipe out top one from the top of that house, and now they can get angles on everybody. Death. He is just raining death and destruction onto headhunters. Somehow, Harsh is able to keep his teammates alive. That nade could be their undoing, but nope. GOAT get the better of them, and those points are stolen away from GOW.
Yeah, GOAT-like gameplay there, sneaking away those points. GOAT clearly understand that they are struggling in the competition, so they thank GOW with a big smile on their faces. GOW, on the other hand, with this high ground advantage, still will be pressured as the circle moves away from their compound. They have to hop on off. This could just be an advantage for the other teams if they are in the right place at the right time up against GOW.
IQOO Orangutan, they don't have to worry about GOW for the time being, but when the circle shifts, they will be forced to fight them. GOW are going for a 3-1 split, while 3 of them are on top of this house. One of them is already going from the bottom, and RIP, he's got so much done! He wipes out the entirety of GOAT Esports, all on his own!
Easy words for RIP, rest in pieces, GOATs! And I like my biryani with small, tiny little pieces. RIP definitely made sure of that. Thank you very much for chopping them up, man. IQOO, NMR, Godlike, GOW, final circle, big plays! And Nightmare's run ends just like that as they get eliminated from the lobby. Godlike up against GOW. Can IQOO sneak this one away?
IQOO have to just hold on to their horses and strike at the right time. GOW going around the right-hand side. They get the better of leg. Even Kid falls to his knees. Twist tries to go for a fast revive, but Dayan with that launcher, he destroys Godlike Esports. Arjun will be hunted down. Demon and RIP chasing them down to the ends of the earth, and GOW with yet another booyah.
Yet another dominating booyah. 3 games in a row. GOW showing them they can play it just like Avida can in terms of the top 3 rate they claim for themselves. Massive stuff here. 100% rage bait tactic. They get up to the top, spraying down all of these bullets on these teams, hoping and praying they respond, putting themselves out of position, out in the open, and it was just easy shots from there on. And my goodness me, no amount of glue wall could have saved them from this sort of a disaster. GOW was crazy there.
Yeah, man, GOW were just acting like turrets on top of that boxing ring roof. The fact that they managed to eliminate top 1 from that spot and take it for themselves gave them all the access to all the opponents that they could have ever asked for. And then they just rain death and destruction from above. 22 eliminations, maybe even a little more than that. And a booyah on top of that. That is not just dominance. They are sending a message over here, a message written in blood that nobody can ever erase from their memories.
3 games in, and GOW Esports have got 2 booyahs to their names already. My goodness me, 32 points just purely off of placements. Their engagements are absolutely fire. There's just no stopping these boys at this point of time. 24 massive eliminations, a solid 10 more than IQOO, OGxTSG, as well as Godlike Esports. How insane is that?
A new tournament record over here, AJ. Yesterday, we saw one of these teams rack up 35 points in a single game. Now, GOW rack up 36.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder which one of these teams can break this record now.
I mean, this is the kind of problem that is amazing for these teams to kind of face out there as well, right? This is an opportunity to break records that they took like champs. Yesterday, the most number of eliminations together with a booyah that we did manage to see was, if I'm not mistaken, 21. So that just makes this booyah so much more brilliant. Good on GOW for pulling this off.
Yep. And they keep on pulling it off again and again and again. It seems like just simply nobody can stop them. What a ridiculous amount of dominance. Death, this time with an AWM, he was on top providing overwatch for his teammates. And because he's dishing out so much damage, GW feel comfortable abandoning their high ground spot and rushing down the remaining stragglers on the ground.
5 eliminations, 10 assists in total. Obviously, the plushie was doing a lot of damage, a lot of chaos erupted just purely because of that plushie. And if that one fails, if that's on cooldown, he's got the Moko to mark them up. He's got the Maro to just make his sniping capabilities just so much more lethal. And that AWM was just merciless in those engagements. Crazy stuff out of the squad of GOW overall. But for sure, Death cannot be the player with the most number of eliminations here. Let's take a look at the team stats as well. Chrono Nero, Oscar A124 for the deadly combo as they hit their second booyah of the day.
Sheesh. I mean, it's not just the amount of eliminations that shake me to my core. He had 5,700 damage.
Yeah.
That is an insane number. That is the kind of number that some teams struggle to achieve with all their players combined. And he just pulled it off all by himself.
And also because he wasn't actually getting a lot of eliminations, right? He was just, I think we saw multiple times with the Winchester just at the window. He was just going up, tum, 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 tum. He was finding all of those engagements. He was finding all of those connections, but none of them actually turned into a knock or an elimination. In the grand scheme of things, he walked away with just a little bit of a flashier card, right? 7 eliminations, 7 knockout for the side of RIP, 4 eliminations, 4 knockout on the side of Dian, 8 eliminations, 8 knockouts for the side of Demon. Assists are massive overall. Look at the whole squad, 11, 10, 8, 13. How do you even do that?
I simply cannot believe this anymore. What are these numbers? It's not just the number of assists, it's the disparity between these numbers. Like on one hand, you've got RIP, almost the most eliminations, 7, and then you got Demon with like 8 eliminations, decent enough damage from both of them, and then you got Death, who's just basically making things so much easier for his teammates by shooting them all from afar. 5,700 is absolutely insane.
And of course, Dian as well, the grenadier of the squad, M79 for those plays. I mean, they were on fire. There was just nothing wrong about their gameplay at all, GOW. They had a comfortable defensive spot in the final circle as well. And they made magic work for themselves, right? Top 1, they were on the roof. And they knew what sort of a dangerous vantage point that is. But it's all about the timing, which Top 1 got totally wrong. GOW chose the movement of that circle, timed perfectly with their jump pad maneuver up onto the roof. Backstab, wipes out Top 1, and then becomes the high ground dominators. I think the timing was just way too good. And the timing to jump off of the roof as well was played perfectly by them.
Yeah, that timing is everything because anyone can identify the most heated spot in the entire lobby. Anyone can figure out that the roof of that boxing ring is going to be the spot to hold. But if you go there too early, everybody will focus on you. If you go there too late, you're going to miss that opportunity. And GOW timed it perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And GOW with that perfectly timed shot as well as maneuver, it obviously got them that second booyah of the day. But is this going to be the end? Because Crips, we still have got 3 more games to go, my friend.
Yep, we have reached almost the halfway point of the day. For groups of Team A, this has been a decent start so far. But for the teams of Group B, this is going to be the final stretch. This is going to be the one where you have to go all out or you go home. Who's going to make it into the top 10? We will find out after a short break. Ladies and gentlemen, do not go anywhere. We will be back with more high-octane Free Fire action.
It's going to be me, also Aiden, alongside Lucifer to walk you through these final 3 maps. It has been intense. All this time, we just saw one name, Lucy, and that has to be God of Wolves. So they have been performing super good, and they're just dominating the entire scene. I mean, what's going on there?
The team from Vietnam, they're going all in, and it is unbelievable to see this. Now, going back to day one, right? If you want to backtrack, Avida was, yes, doing all their shenanigans and finding booyahs. But along with them, there were other teams from other regions to show up. But today, it has been just one name, and that is GOW. And it looks unstoppable. While we do have other teams who are trying to close that gap, but in the last 3 games, it has been GOW all the way. Hopefully, we have seen certain glimpses from NG Pros. We've seen from Godlike. We saw a very nice strategic game coming in from Reflex. I think it's going to be a lot more in the last 3 at least.
It's just a teeny tiny bit of it, right, Lucifer? That's the only problem that I am facing all this time. So many teams, and yet they are not able to dominate as frequently as GOW. They're just constantly going ham. They're at least reaching towards the top 3 and then eventually getting that booyah. In those 3 maps, we could see 2 already on their name. The others, Reflex, well, they're also performing. They're having a ball. They're absolutely nailing it from the way they have already picked their slack from the previous day. That's absolutely adorable. And now moving forward, they need to be even more ferocious in order to get those points, as things are going to get even more heated for Group B specifically. As Group A, they have just set foot, like Grips already mentioned. Group A is just their start. Group B, it's going to be their end. And this is the home stretch, baby. This is your opportunity to go ahead and bag it all.
I 100% agree. I think Group B have to now understand that, yes, the heat is turning up, right? Today is going to be their last day, and they have to understand if they're not in the top 10, they will not make it to the BR finals. That's not something that we would want to see. I know it is getting tough, but I think just like how Reflex turned today, I think they sat in the driver's seat. I don't know what was happening yesterday. They were just with around 36 points. The amount of points they've picked up today, oh my god, that's unbelievable. But I think along with them, we were just talking, right, about Nightmare as well. The first 2 games, okay, but as soon as we took their name in that 3rd game, even Nightmare started picking up points. They pushed KAGENDRA away. I was like, wow.
That was lovely.
And I think if that is going to happen here, that tells you how the Group B teams within themselves are trying to figure out that they have to stay in the top 10.
They're slowly but surely emerging forward. I mean, that's the kind of confidence that most of the teams are still lacking down. And Nightmare, they're just coming out of their shell. They're just not at all walking on eggshells anymore. They're eventually having the explosive stance. Imagine pushing away KAGENDRA. That itself is a tough fleet, as they were dominating in the previous day. And today as well, they're having a very nice, well-rounded performance. They're even going in for those eliminations. They're even getting those position advantages as well. In the first game itself, they at least ended up being 3rd. So that gives them like 8 positional advantage alongside the amount of eliminations that they secured. That itself is a really good cherry on the top situation. And moving forward, I'm just hoping that the other teams who we haven't taken the name yet, they can also go ahead and showcase what they're made of. There's a lot of expectations from them. There's a lot of hope from all of the regions. And now moving forward, let's just see how and
been having a good day, and it is also their last day today, as we're going to be ending on this fine Saturday. And if they're unable to start picking up points, it looks a little dicey for me. But on the other end, Reflex, who have looked very confident, but one team that they're going very close to is GOW. I think that's what they have to stay away from. On the other end, if you look at Bayfront, Rising Gods as well, not great time that they've been having. They're also in Group B, something to be worried about. Bangladesh top 1, now they have another day, that is going to be Sunday, to figure things out. But not the best in terms of performance. They've been picking up points. NG Pros and Headhunters enshrines. Now Headhunters, they're also a team who we saw completely picking up points on day 1. Today, it's been decent. I wouldn't say something amazing, but if they're going against NG Pros who are looking forward to a booyah, Headhunters have to do a lot.
A lot. They have to pick up their slack. 6 teams, they're still in the red zone. They have to perform. These are those 3 maps that they can actually do something more of a damage. Kalahari, and later on it's Solar and Alpine. Both of them are going to be a different story altogether. And I can't digest this fact that Mammoth is one of the regions which is completely open. No way.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting when we head over to it, because as we talk about this preferred drop spots, right? It's just an idea to figure out, hey, this could be a drop clash that could happen. Maybe teams start picking up the Bolt Maker and make a complete red lightning zone coming through. But there's a couple of things that we kind of have to now break down after what we witnessed on Nextera as we are heading towards Kalahari. Is the Group A teams. Now, in the overall standings as well, we saw NG Pros, who were one of the teams from India that everybody is looking forward to picking up a booyah. They should have had an opportunity. Even GODLIKE should have had an opportunity, but that was not the case as we started Auzora. But hopefully, it turns around. One more team that did kind of, I would say, come into the top in at least the last game has to be IQOO OGxTSG, right? Because we were looking forward to their first two games. They were getting eliminated right, left and center, but now in this at least they made it to the top two, which gives me hope that they are getting up for maybe better points, because now they also need to jump, because NG Pros and OGxTSG are sharing and neighbors in the points table.
So that's a really good opportunity for IQOO OGxTSG, like you rightly mentioned, Lucifer. Not only that, if this is going to be the situation for most of the teams, I believe that if they keep the pace at it, then they will always keep getting the better of the overall situation. And now moving forward towards what kind of predictions I have gone ahead and given, let's just straight up head towards that as well. I can see those two confident names coming from both the ends, KAGENDRA and GOW. We know they have been doing super good, but in the mix you have NG Pros, I have GODLIKE, and this is Kalahari. So GODLIKE, I'm vouching for you guys to be in the top 3.
Yeah, same here. I think NG Pros, that is the same reason I'm kind of banking on them. They've done this here on Kalahari. They can do it once again. It's just that I think this Fire MAX Asia Invitational lobby that they're trying to figure out, the team's slowly getting closer. But I think KAGENDRA, as the opener yesterday, they've already gotten a booyah on Kalahari. It shouldn't be much of a trouble. That is the reason I have their name. And I think GOW, I think everybody looking on the stream, in the chat, everybody knows at this point, if you don't have GOW in your top 3, it doesn't make sense. They are outrageously too good from Southeast Asia, and they are right now ruling the A versus B groups fight.
Absolutely, man. Nail-biter performance. And the way they're using every single thing in their arsenal, whether it be melters, nades, grenadiers, every single thing is working on point for them. And I hope that they have this Godspeed till the very end, as they're just dominating. If someone else wants to go ahead and obliterate them, might as well do it right about now and carry forward with the momentum. And post this, AJ did mention about the curls being activated once you get the booyah, but that's not at all being seen on them. Not a single face being so squinted up that, you know what's going on? I'm not understanding. Not at all. They're so cool, calm and collected, and they're just constantly getting those booyahs. So that's a really good sight. And now moving forward towards Kalahari, this is going to be epic.
It has to be for Group B especially. We've reached the halfway mark, and today the next 3 games matter. Every single point that you pick up, and you have to start making a mark. Same goes for NG Pros. If they want to climb the ladder, get towards the top 10. Right now, they are, yes, a little dwindled down in the overall standings. But hopefully, this game changes things. A lot more confident on the map. But look at Nightmare already against top 1. There is already a drop clash where Alif, he's got in another direction, closer to making sure he's going to save his team in case already the knocks happen, and they are. Shovo is down. It's only up to Pranto, and he's also been spotted. That is going to be another elimination grabbed, and at the sub, he will finally bring back his teammates, and the Mammoth that we spoke about eventually becomes a barnyard or a boneyard for none other than Bangladesh top 1 to start things off.
You know, there's one problem though. The last person has somehow weaseled his way through. So all the hope is on him, and he is very close to this area, the sub. And once he gets notified or he's noticed by the opponents, then the entire team goes down. This team needs to perform. I do understand it's just day 1 for them, but somehow you've already gotten the read of what the entire crew looks like. But this is a different fight altogether. Headhunters, it's their final day to showcase what they're made of, and I don't think so. They're having a really good ball. Eventually, those shots are connecting, and with that, Nancy has already been taken care of. Yet another frag. Wait a second, Marco. Why are you giving freebies to Headhunters?
Now, when Godlike thought that Refinery is going to be free and Headhunters, who were supposed to go in the other direction, fight with NG Pros, they decided I think Refinery should be an option, and that opening option is really good. Now, 4 eliminations, Godlike did pick up in their name. As you can see in elimination leader, Nancy has 2, but after that it's changed towards Kunal as well. He has 2. He is the newest addition in the team, and it seems like it's working out for Headhunters, as we did say. Today is going to be crucial of how Headhunters finalize their next 3 games. So far for Godlike, they should have had an opening booyah itself. From there on, I can still see that now Godlike are trying to figure out what is the best approach to get back towards winning ways, to get their booyah at least on here. Day 1 in terms of their performance, day 2 as an overall for FFMAI.
Alright. KAGENDRA. They've already marked their next targets, but the target is on their back as Yogi, he's been disrupted from being in that meditating state, and all of a sudden, he's here to go ahead and grab those points. But there's a quick revival being instigated already. Dead. Jojo, they're dropping down. And if they drop down like flies, then Nightmare, they will have a really good ball. But Hitman on the other end, he's been shot constantly, paraded as Raz. He's just rushing forward in order to get that 1 point. And if he secures this one, the Nightmare will have a very bad opportunity for them to at least shine against KAGENDRA. And that's what's happening. In order to confirm, there's another player right in front. And wait a second, Raz, he got a bit greedy. He needed the support from the entire team, and that support is not yet arrived. I mean, he's right on top and dead. He might soon turn dead.
What's happening to KAGENDRA here? This is not what we thought, but I really like how Hitman played over there. He prolonged that fight and made sure all the players who would now regroup towards him will eventually find an opportunity to take down Raz, and that did happen. But it seems like KAGENDRA, after almost losing 2 and looking forward to maybe losing a lot more, they decided it's time to back off, not keep that fight ongoing at Mammoth. Still, Dead is close by because he thought he could already find a way to win or fight. So right now he's trying to buy some time. Chrono activated. Gopo finally spots him. Glue walls all across. Does he survive? There's too many members around. He still finds nothing. I thought maybe there could have been a knock, but it's still going to be Nightmare. And they are raking up eliminations one after another. And this Mammoth has been their Mammoth land for eliminations at a total of 8 now.
Absolute giants. Sitting at the 3rd spot, 127 points already attained. And that's really good coming in from their end. The way they've already showcased day 1 performance, they were very aggressive, but they were not that lethal. And now they're just providing those points and initiating towards a really good end. IQOO-TSG, they themselves have just initiated from the previous game, and they would love to keep that momentum in their pocket unless RG Rising Gods just go ahead and stomp on them, which I believe the case is looking that bit lesser than usual.
Rising Gods, they don't have a lot of points. They are banking on their elimination edge. They should pick up points here. But are they going to be safe and sound? No, because there's another team that's going to be NG Pros. Rising Gods have already lost 1 player, Deepu Bot. They've gotten 4 eliminations in total. They knocked Chris, should get the confirmation, and Megs, yes, confirms it. On the other end, the teammates instantly get revived because of their teammate who had already moved in the other direction. And now leaving Rising Gods stuck in this fight. Thankfully. Yes.
How on earth? Okay. Avron just helping them out, and now goes another player down. Rising Gods. They're not at all gonna rise if this is the case, as 1 by 1 they've been picked off clean like a carcass in a desert. And NG Pros, they themselves are raking those points up. I can see Redcliffe in the distance, and Manu, who is just taking all of those shots. HP way too low, and Redcliffe, yet again, they're forced to run away. But wait a second, they're bringing in those cavalries, and this is going to help them out, at least getting in 1 point as Aztec.
I think Aztec thought it's only 1 individual player, decided to chase him. But a surprise, similar to what happened between KAGENDRA and Nightmare. GOW, Demon, and the Demon Slayers of the lobby, as of now I could call them. They've been so phenomenal, but he spots more members. Decides to stop midway of that zipway, but he's not safe and sound out in the open. All the players of Nightmare can see him clear as day. Instantly backs off towards the container, has given the call to his teammates. But I think his teammates are telling him to come back, not provide or prolong this fight. But Armin is taking An approach, but what a shot coming in from Demon on the Winchester. He's going to look forward to another as a rush does happen. Now Nightmare have closed the gap, but can they close this fight as well against Demon? He's found 2 eliminations, would want more now. Farhan and Gopo, I think they've decided finally to back off as Rip. He's here and he's looking forward to putting them all in the land.
You mess with the devil, you get the horns. GOW, they were not at all looking that confident, and the way Death was just taking pot shots, it just looked like he just is not interested in taking this fight. But the moment Nightmare just took it on them to charge, full-fledged it, send it, is when he actually started hitting his shots from the Winchester. So that's really good coming from GOW. And focusing all the eyes onto Godlike, having 11 eliminations in their pocket. Redcliffe, this is one of the fights that you need to back off from. Do not pick this fight unless you're very confident.
Trying their best, but Godlike have all information. They spot them. Fahim, it's a knock. Shifi, can he protect? I'm not too sure that's going to happen. Glue wall, yes for now. But if they want, Godlike could make a jump and they're already doing it. This is what I was worried about. And you can see Marco, he's the one with the grapple as fast as possible. Asifi, he gets taken down. Fahim was revived, but I don't think he's going to survive. Does patch himself up, but is it going to be enough to survive or take a fight head on against Marco? M590 and a rush coming through. Instant knock. And Godlike push the elimination counter to 14. And Yogi becomes the elimination leader at 5.
The envelope is not shutting right about now, Lucifer. It's just opening up wide and wide, and the way they're just getting the control of the entire map as well. That's a beautiful thing to watch upon as well. So far, I feel, yet again, this is the competition which is going on in my head. Godlike against GOW. I would love to see that again.
Yes.
The replica from game number 1 has to come through again. So let's see how well that's going to perform or how well that will pan out to be. But I can see those fights being taken, the skirmishes right outside the circle, and Yogi, he would love to just bounce out of that situation. It's very dicey as there's even Redcliffe member right behind him.
I don't know what Redcliffe will be able to do, but Ashik, the last man standing, for him to make a move ahead of Shrines, he has to somehow find a loophole out of IQOO OGxTSG. But I don't know if that's going to be possible because they're grouping up. Binoculars used. Redcliffe, Ashik, I think that should be by him itself because he's the closest and he gets information of all the players. But in the meantime, on the other end, at the edge of the circle, it's NG Pros who have only managed to get 6 eliminations. They were fighting against Rising Gods, and again now they're on another fight. Meg's already down. He was one who they got an elimination against. Can they find a full team wipe this time? They're right below on the rooftops. 2 knocks already done. Manu trying to get closer, confirm the eliminations as well. Rising Gods down to the last 2, Raftar and Deepu Bot.
Oh, he spotted him. He has spotted him, Raftar. He needs to catch up the pace, cut some slack, and at least get a knock or 2. He's instantly going in. Wait a second. This is not a really good decision of bringing that one fallen comrade back into the picture. Anubhav showcasing all that he has. But wait a second. He himself has bitten down, obliterated. This fight is still going on. And Manu, Aztec, these are the 2 players. They need to go ahead and shut this entire situation, or it's going to be a really big demise for them.
Could become a big problem. NG Pros, they have to start getting points. They put one down. It's all up to Megs now to survive for Rising Gods. Again from Group B, so the intensity of this fight is a lot more. The heat on him is a lot more. He's understanding, trying to figure out if he can survive, because right as now, we still have 11 teams surviving. He needs the placement points as well, and that is the reason they're trying their best. Confirmation for Aztec on Raftar. Next, somehow running at the edges of the zone, but I don't think can be able to push as far as they want. It seems like NG Pros, they let it go. They're fine with him going in the other direction. I feel this is because of the numbers. They just saw what happened to Anubhav and they do not want that happening to individual isolated fights because they did it on their own.
That was the last man standing. Rising Gods are on the brink of being extinct in the map of Kalahari. And NG giving them the room, the space to breathe is going to be a big mistake. But let's see how well that pans out as well. Nightmare, they're at the smack center, and the others slowly making their way through Headhunters. They already have claimed a really good territory, and multiple teams have to go through that checkpost, which is going to be so problematic as this team is already shining so bright. Godlike, they are just continuing with what they can do best, getting eliminations. 15 is what they have, and KAGENDRA, they're still sitting at 4. It's not a good sight for them as multiple teams are taking some shots. Jojo, the last man standing for this entire team. What can he do? He is the torchbearer now. And him being a sniper as well gives them the distance, but that distance will not let them go that far.
KAGENDRA not much to be worried out of day 2 because they've raked up points. They're sitting at the top of the table, but they have to make sure they're in the top 10. It's about moving towards the next week. The last man standing, Jojo, looking forward to taking down IQOO OGxTSG, and it eventually happens because as they were taking the launch pad, they meet the Death Lords of the lobby, that is GOW.
KAGENDRA. Healings is one of the places where people need to focus if they're outside the circle, and that's where KAGENDRA's Jojo could not do much. Continuous eliminations left, back, and center, and Reflex. This team has been doing so well, but unfortunately, it's the team who's having the height advantage. GOW who's gonna reign supreme and get those eliminations. In a blink of an eye, they have 13. I saw them. Last they had was 4.
They're taking control of their sub. They want to keep it on going. They're against Headhunters, and Headhunters have already lost the player. They're rushing towards them, not giving them any gap. Kunal in the forefront, taking down Demon. And Dan, he wants to help his teammate out. RIP right behind, close, and he does it! He puts them all down in the blink of an eye. Headhunters, even though they were the ones to start, put Demon down. They're the first to go out. The Bolt Maker has an entire ground surrounded. The entire area lit up with just lightning bolts. And GOW are ready to keep pushing this forward. Total of 18 eliminations. Reflex of Reawake has been spotted. Chase coming in from death, and I don't know if there's a possibility to deny this death from happening.
Oh my goodness. Constant annihilations. And right now having the control as well. GOW, they have made no mistakes in taking all of those one bit of fights. And this is amazing to watch. Right now, sitting at the tippy top, NG as well. They have a man count disadvantage, but that doesn't matter. They need to somehow push things forward and at least get the maximum out of this as they are in those top 4 teams. GOAT, they themselves have proven a lot in this map specifically. Previously, they could not do much. Finally, just opening up is going to give them a really good advantage.
Ballmaker used again. NG Pros, they'd spotted a team. They were ready to take them down. They wanted GOAT out. But on the other end, look at what GOW are doing. As soon as we look at the elimination feed, it's just GOW. And within the blink of an eye, they put Nightmare down. We are down to the last 3 teams. NG Pros, they know they cannot move up the rock because if they do, they're going to be spotted by GOW. So their best bet and the fight should be against GOAT. But GOAT are also in trouble. And look at GOW. They're ready to completely take this team down. And now they're getting cornered. Sandwich. GOAT have nowhere to run. They are getting pushed out. But NG Pros, they have to be smart. And Cropsy is on the right end. Jian spots that. Anubhav goes down. Aztec, can he do something of a miracle here? GOW, 3 players surviving down to the last 2 from NG Pros, and both of them fall. And it is going to be GOW Esports again with a booyah. They look unstoppable. This is their 3rd booyah of the day.
Exactly. My oh my, God of Wolf. It was written all over there. The way they just spun those needles. And at the end, that web just contained NG Pros yet again. This team is unstoppable. 3 booyahs already for today.
Azura, believe me, they had my hearts pounding. And I don't know where these guys are heading towards it. This feels like the finale they're fighting for. This feels like they're fighting for the Asia Invitational Championship right here. And I think it goes towards their history that they want to get back to being the top performing team again. Want those podium finishes, and now they're scaring the lobby. This looks insane. The way this team has been playing, and they have surmounted close to 20 eliminations here in Free Fire Max Asia Invitational. And imagine, this is just them starting out. This is their first day in the run of this competition, and they're doing this already.
That's called doing some really good homework. They understood the assignment, they sat, they watched the entire ward, they knew which team does what exactly, except for the ones who were coming alongside them. That was a surprise, but the adaptability, the macros, the adjustments, every single thing is on point for GOW Esports. They are playing some top-notch Free Fire Max. And this is the way you secure the second booyah back-to-back. And the first one was in the first very map. 41 total points! Okay, they have raked up so much points that this is the highest that we have seen in 2 days combined.
I'm pretty sure both AJ as well as Crips, who are right now watching, they were just talking about it. Can anybody beat the total of 36 in terms of total points? And GOW themselves do better. That's what they did in the previous game, and now they rake up towards 41 total, and 29 are eliminations. They already had 18, and that's why I said they pushed up towards 20 plus eliminations. And look at this, 29 out of a single game, and that too on Kalahari. And what a performance coming in from there. And the closest team is sitting at a difference of around 19 points. That's Nightmare Esports at a total of 22. Then comes in GODLIKE, who are at a total of 19, sharing with NG. The Rising Gods at 12 with Headhunters. GOAT at 10. KAGENDRA at only 7. IQOO OGxTSG at 6 with REFLEX sharing the same number of points. Redcliffe with just 1, and Bangladesh top 1. Unfortunate, very early elimination, and they have nothing to answer for. And this was Kalahari.
Kalahari, my oh my. Who would have wondered that GOW is just gonna go ahead straight up, get all of those points. In terms of eliminations, placement is still fine, 12. It looks very sweet, you know. And that's one of the things even Bangladesh top 1 is thinking about. But unfortunately, yeah.
Imagine, now placement points is steadfast. It's written on stone. It cannot change. But if that was also to be changed, this booyah would have been a spectacular one. They would have pushed it towards a half century. But let's take a look at their MVP. Who is it going to be? And it is going to be RIP. And he did put them into rest.
10 eliminations, damage of over 4,000, and 14 assists. Give this man a break. RIP. I would say this to the opponents rather. M590 in hand. This guy was a whole package, being a rusher alongside the chrono. Okay. I just get a load of this guy.
There's nothing much. He has Joseph, Olivia, and Thiva as well. You saw when there was a fight with the Demon, right? And he was about to be knocked down instantly. RIP just jumped down and he put Nightmare out of the game. And instantly, what did Nightmare do? They decided to back off. Let's go take a look at his teammates as well. There you end up seeing Demon with Oscar and his teammate Death with Nero. Dion with A124, Thrill coming through into play. What a team this is. Unbelievable stuff coming in from there. And Dion as the Grenadier, Alvaro, Beaston, all of it, having Moko as well, all of that information. So nobody can run away or even hide from the likes of GOW.
Even if they have a target in their back for the next following map, which is Solara, I don't mind. The way they just take a fight against a full-man squad team, that was insane. Death was just constantly taking a couple of pot shots, and the way Nightmare just charged towards, I just cannot forget that. And if this is the case, man, it's going to be so much fun to see them in the upcoming 2 maps as well. So, other teams, buckle up. This is the kind of competition that you're going to go through. And the only competition that I can see, or only team who can go ahead and give them a really good competition, is Avida x KDC. That's the only team that is coming in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, to what has been replicated yesterday is what we have to kind of see if that can be done from any of the teams, right? So that's the reason you go towards Avida. Before we jump towards that, let's talk about the team stats as well. 9 eliminations, 3, 7, and 10. Where do you even see this as a whole? We end up seeing, yes, one of the MVPs having somewhere around 5 or 4, 6 at the highest in terms of eliminations. Here, everybody looks to be an MVP. You can't count anybody out in terms of damage. Everybody's close to 4,000. But now let's jump into the today's standing. That is the fight between Group A and B, and look at where Group A and B's GOW is at. They're sitting at a total of 132. And this is just 4 games done.
What is this? Is this some kind of a speed run? Is it like Avida XKDC did this much, I'm going to do it better and at a much more faster pace, alongside getting the tippy top position as well? This is insane.
This was Avida after 6 games yesterday.
That's my whole point, Lucifer. It's like a speed run that I would love to see again and again. And GOW, my god, they have shut the entire competition and they have just made it like a move point. It doesn't matter from where you come, which direction you're heading from. If you are going to cross paths with GOW Esports, then you're bound to be taken down. And that's the kind of statement I love seeing coming in from their end.
Now that GOW have done it, but again, you have to kind of start talking about Nightmare as well. You saw such a phenomenal game coming in from there, and we were talking about that as well, right? Where Nightmare have been picking up decent points, but now that they're understanding because of the position they're in, that is Group B, their matches are going to end today. They have to be a lot more, I would say, in predicting of what their next game is going to be in terms of how many points they're going to be getting, a lot more decisive. They cannot let it be out in the open. Go with the flow is not the decision that they can take, and they're rightfully doing so. However, for the other teams, I'm a lot more worried about. Rising Gods had an opportunity. They picked the fight against IQOO OGxTSG. That was looking like they could have converted on points, but unfortunate. NG Pros, they are in that mix of things. Even NG Pros again in between GOAT, but again for GOAT Esports, they have another opportunity. It's their first day. They'll have action tomorrow again to play for, so they're trying to understand. But NG Pros, in the position that they are in, a couple of fights that they took were not that great, Auzora, to be honest, because that fight with the last player of Rising Gods should have been clean. However, Anubhav went ahead, he got eliminated, and eventually even in this last fight, right, I think Anubhav was the first player to fall down, and eventually Cropsy and the other is trying to figure out where do they stand a chance against GOW. But let's wait and watch. There's still 2 more games.
So it's the kind of rush tactic which is failing, as a support is not able to provide that much of, ground or the kind of support that he usually can do. But let's just go ahead and see the kind of drop spots we're going to expect in the map of Solara, as most of the time we do eventually look at the TV tower and we see a cluster of teams, but it's Aquarium this time that we can see a deadly triangle which is going to be super lethal. And from there on, heading towards the midway section, there's a lot of teams to confront. So let's see how well teams are going to cope up to that.
Now, I'm worried for GODLIKE as well as GOW here, because I've seen in our previous matches that we kind of did witness, all the way even tracing back to FFMAI. Even there, GODLIKE around Bloomtown and Studio, they move around, right? Now that GOW is there, and especially that Booyah is something that GODLIKE have missed so far, time to think about it. Hub, Nightmare and KAGENDRA. KAGENDRA, as we said, yes, they're at the top of the charts. Not much to be worried about. But it's for the other teams to worry about KAGENDRA if they start picking up points, meaning especially in these last 2 games, Group B miss out on a lot. On the other end, we do have GOAT, who are not going to be worried, as we already spoke about it, all the way towards the windmill. REFLEX, unfortunate Kalahari elimination they had, did not grab a lot in terms of points that they need, because again, REFLEX, after yesterday's unfortunate losses, or I would say points that they accumulated today, has been a really good run. But now they're down to their last 2 games. After Solara, they have just 1 more, that's going to be Alpine. And they have to make sure every point, every minute counts.
But why do I feel, I just kind of have like that gut feeling that they have made it. The way they have already upped their game, Lucifer, hats off. I mean, it's like a really good performance. And like you rightly mentioned, 2 more games, it's just a home stretch. Do it, make at least those points count. But it just feels like they've already made it. And the others who are still there towards Group B, Redcliffe, Headhunters, Rising God, they're still having a lot of struggling moments. And that's where they need to start buckling up. It needs to be a big game from there. And just like GOW, the God of 41, it needs to be very close. At least a 35 or a 30-pointer would make the difference. And that too, it needs to be consistent for 2 following games, which seems to be impossible. But we have seen those impossible fleets as well being done. And now, the golden question. Our predictions? These are ours. What about you? Have you already locked in?
Yeah, there you go. I have GOW this time. I'm looking forward to them getting a booyah. On Kalahari, I kind of wanted somebody else to start picking up. I knew GOW would do the same. But I think now that the direction that they're heading into, I see a lot more booyahs coming into play. But GODLIKE, they also had an opportunity, a little bit of a mess up as they were getting towards the last zone. I thought it could have worked out. And the reason again I pick up Headhunters is because of that refinery fight that they initiated with. I thought Headhunters could have concluded it in even better manner and picked up a lot more aggression from there forward. It somehow missed out. But I can see that you've gone for KAGENDRA. KAGENDRA, as we said, yes, are playing it really smart as well as safe. They're at the top. They want to stay there. Even if they don't play tomorrow, at max, they push down to top 5. I don't think they're going to be going anywhere else.
Yep. So Nightmare, again, the kind of confidence that they already have, all thanks to the previous day's performance and moving forward, the aggression as well, that's working out for them. So might as well go ahead and do it yet again, right? So that's the reason I've chosen them. Moreover, this is one of those maps as well for them to shine. I usually see NG Pros as well performing very well in this one, but the reason why I did not choose them is because they just need those entire engines to be heated up. So they're just trying to test the waters of the entire group, and once they are done doing that, I believe that's going to be a different story altogether for the next following day. Not for today, though. So let's just see how well these teams are going to perform. This is the last second game, and possibly most of the players from the likes of Group B, they need to flourish. They need to shine. This is now or never for them. And Solara is absolutely an amazing map. It showcases how versatile you can be. It showcases how well you can go ahead and step up your aggression game. And that's where I would love to bank upon all of these teams.
Let's jump in. It's time for Solara. Game number 5 of the day. And Group B, they are picking up points, but all of them need to. Some of them lagging behind and some of them trying to run away towards the top of the charts. And we see the flight take off, and we are again looking at NG Pros as they dive. They're so close to Headhunters. Even Bangladesh, top 1, who are close to Rising Gods. And Rising Gods, they need every bit of points they can get. Redcliffe and IQOO OGxTSG, there could be a clash over there as well. And it seems like it's already started at Delta Isle.
Oh, yeah. Love the kind of aggression that we can already see, but wait a second, this time it is going to be BD top 1 getting the first following frag, but the instant response looks even more sublime. Rising Gods, they're trying to go for a tit-for-tat approach, and so far they're not looking confident, but the second or the third knock is going to make Alif just run away from that following skirmish, and this is big. BD top 1, if they have to stay inside the game, that the last person needs to survive. My oh my, Rising Gods. I like the approach this time around. And well, Solara did come in late, but this might give them the edge that they need.
Let's see if they do get the edge they need. They've not got a lot to start things off, and same goes for Redcliffe. Delta Isle, we spoke about this. IQOO OGxTSG as well have missed out their opportunities. Shafi spotted Arjun as well. It should be an opportunity. Does the damage but does not get the knock. Chris runs closer, trying to get them on a knock with the Bison. Asifi trying his best, does get that opportunity. And his teammates, they fall in line and they also help out. And OGxTSG, they're in trouble. Fahim is also here. They're grabbing the eliminations and confirming it. But a dash comes through. It could be a problem, but somehow they create a little bit of a breather. And the last one here, that's going to be like, he's trying his best. I think he's going to get taken down, and he does. But before going out, he touched the vending machine and revived one player. So it is not going to be a full-on team wipe here, Ozora.
Oh my god. That's a very lucky position. IQOO OGxTSG. That was a marvel for them. And I hope that the next following one will be a really good clash or a redemption fight. But speaking about this one, Wait, what happened to Rising Gods? All of a sudden, they're just shifting gears. They're at 6th right now. And the 7th has already come through.
It's good. I like this play coming in from Rising Gods. They need to do this, and I think this is very much necessary. Now, if you kind of look at another team from Nepal itself, it was GB Esports, and if you track back to yesterday, they had 2 booyahs. And today, at any cost, Rising Gods need to pick up, because if they don't, this is the game number 5. This is what we've been talking about. What is at stake? Being eliminated from BR Play-Ins. Not able to head in towards the next stage, the next weekend, where you'll have a chance at the BR title itself. KAGENDRA, who should be safely sitting towards that title fight. But again, they still have another, even though they qualify this week. It feels like today's performance from KAGENDRA has been somewhere they have toned it down. They're saving some cards for towards the BR finals.
I mean, that's nice. Nice of them to think about that, but this was the opportunity for them to at least get some really good points as well on board. Specifically, if I talk about the kind of competition they're already facing, which is GOW, this Vietnamese team is an absolute cinema. They love to run around, they love to get those points, and then just obliterate the opponents one by one. But this is the fight that we all were waiting for. Nightmare just going ham. Given the conditions, NG Pros, they themselves need a lot of points to at least match up to the kind of competition that we have seen so far. And that's helping out. But Hitman, so far, he has managed to bring back those 3 fallen comrades. So that was not a bad situation at all. But now, if NG Pros, they hitchhike and reach towards this waterfall region and see Hitman crouching there towards the staircase, then those hopes of surviving for a longer time will fade away.
If it does, it could become problems like it has been for Headhunters. Hope is something that every team on Group B is banking on. Nightmare's Hitman, he will let NG Pros pass by because they're not ready for this. They did get up a lot of points in the previous game, but they cannot continue the same. However, continuing aggression eliminations, Cropsy has spotted one leg. He was the last one to bring back IQOO OGxTSG, finds the knock, and he's the first one to fall this time. And it could be a lot more difficult, a lot more menacing here for IQOO OGxTSG. Another falls down, make it the third as Kid. It's to one last player now, Survivor. And I think he was also eliminated. I'm not too sure. The confirmation of Chris does come through. But KAGENDRA, they seem like they decide. They were also close by. And it changes. The momentum shifts from OGxTSG to KAGENDRA and NG Pros.
Yo, speak about the devil, KAGENDRA. They would love to take this fight. Those nades, they would look so good right now. Cropsy, flank angle, 2B brought back into the picture. But it's not going to be that easy. It's way too late. There were so many glue walls just blocking the way. And all of a sudden, teams are just fading away. It's a dominoes effect that they have already faltered towards. NG Pros right now running away for their life. Cropsy has been spotted. And now the shots are going to be spot on. Even though there was a trade, it doesn't matter. This is what KAGENDRA were cooking so far.
We spoke about this, Ozora. KAGENDRA are picking up points. All they want to do is make sure their qualification is set. Nothing to be erased. They are set in stone. And any team decides to take up a fight against them, they better be ready. They better predict what's happening. And right now, NG Pros, all they thought it was IQOO OGxTSG, nobody else. But eventually get surprised. Right now, it looks like Nightmare, they're also up for a surprise, and it is nobody else, it is GOW in front of them. What is going to Farhan's answer to turn things around? Nothing. He's instantly going to get knocked. Tried his best with the M590, but it's going to be the other way around. It's going to be GOW who find value. Amin trying to close the gap, maybe see if they could tune this fight faster in their favor. And he spotted the player with the glue wall, but his decision seems to be just hold them off. Look for information. On the other end, even Redcliffe is here. So what does Amin do?
He would love to run away. This is not a fight that he would love to indulge. And I think that, yeah, that's a really good call. Reuniting with the team. Specifically what happened before in Kalahari. This is like a PTSD moment for them. And I'm glad that they're regrouping and calling it off. Right off the understood that it is GOW. So that's the kind of mental games God of Wolf is playing right now in this particular map. And IQOO, TSG, they are bringing those fallen comrades as well. It's a really good opportunity for them to at least back some really good points. And NG Pros, they're just going ham against Redcliffe. Doesn't matter what kind of competition is right in front of them. Those points are going to look very neat and clean. Ashifi is still surviving. And he's the one who needs to bring back the other players as well. This is a red light for him. And I'm hoping that he's going to survive for a longer time.
KAGENDRA are following suit, and the path line of NG Pro's Cropsy's been seen. Right ahead of him is his other teammate. Cropsy cannot run away from this, but somehow Anubhav has enough distance. Nero used, there's no way you could survive in that space, and eventually falls flat. Elimination secured. 7 total eliminations bagged for KAGENDRA, and they're just going to keep this going. They're going to get a lot more from Arsenal to their Arsenal and keep the fight and aggression forward.
So far, NG Pros, they've been doing a very, low-key job, a good job to be honest, in getting those points. And if you talk about GOAT as well, they themselves are lifting their weights. That's one thing that I can say about them. The others, just slowly but surely reaching upon the mark on which those points need to be there steadily in their pocket. But I like the way the change of pace has come through for Nightmare. From being way too aggressive to being passive right now, all thanks to not having those 2 players in their pocket. And finally, they are bringing that back in as well. KAGENDRA, they're taking a different fight altogether. And look at the way Mando and Cropsy, both of them have fallen flat. My oh my, it's only Aztec who survived the wrath of GODLIKE alongside KAGENDRA. They were being absolutely sandwiched.
This keeps on going. KAGENDRA will be picking up points from everybody, and eventually it'll build confidence to even secure a booyah. And if that happens, it is going to create a problem for everybody else in the lobby. Even for teams from the same group, Aujora, because they're going to miss out a lot. Maybe Group A still decides that we have another day to continue this fight ongoing. It could get better, but I really like what I just now saw on the screen. Rising Gods, highest damage coming in from there, and even in terms of elimination, leader Megs at 6. That tells that Rising Gods have been in this Solara map the true gods that they wanted to be from the very start. It should have worked for them. It's finally working. They've gotten momentum, and very much necessary for them to continue this forward. But look at where they are. They are close to NG Pros, and NG Pros are not having a really good time. We spoke about this in the previous games as well. The fights that they've been taking, Anubhav has been the reviver for them, trying as much as possible. He revived Aztec, but look at where Aztec jumped down to. And now he's stuck between GODLIKE and Rising Gods, who are looking forward to more.
Oh, that's been happening to them again and again. NG Pros, they're just battling it out. And post that, nothing is working for them. But look at the way so many bounties have been set for so many teams. 4 teams, all of them under the radar. And KAGENDRA, they're the ones to go ahead, take this battle against GOAT. One by one, those nades are doing a lot of damage. And if this continues, Monik will be taken down. The push is imminent. The rushes are coming forth as the Skylar abilities, they are coming through as well. The shotgun in hand, and dead. He's gonna sing the song of death, which will just obliterate the entire team. But Jojo, there's a shift of pace. He's the last man standing as GOAT. He has managed. They have managed to survive the wrath.
Hiding is going to be very difficult because of the hit list. They're going to keep their search party ongoing, and look at that. GOW, they decide to jump upon it, and GOAT, they're somehow surviving within that 10th. They're reviving their players one after another, patching themselves up, but they're surrounded by GOW Esports. Nades being tossed across. 1 knock, 2 knock, 3, and the entire team to be wiped. GOW using the launches did not leave them to survive. They launched them out of the lobby, but there's still one person, Rexin. So it's still not a full-on team wipe, but make it a full-on team wipe as Demon finds it and slays the last one. And Gopu, he's also going to be stuck. Somehow the bus saving it, but GOW, somebody stop these mad lads. 12 eliminations right now. There is still leaving them. We have around 17 players surviving, and they're trying to take down Godlike completely in a position they were holding as a stronghold. Now they're losing their footing.
The aggressiveness to which GOW is performing, that's to the peak. And there's no one, absolutely no one who can match up to this madness. These lads are just going out, all in, sending it. And IQOO, he's down on his knees, he's begging for mercy, but that mercy will not be given just yet. There's just a glue wall which is making him hidden for so long. But that too is gonna fade away as the team is just full sending this one through. Death providing the support. Plushies all in just to get to know where the opponents are, and this fight will never stop. Look at the way the revivals are coming through as well. GOW.
Somebody needs to do something different. OGxTSG again in front of them.
Oh.
Knock. Going for eliminations. What a nade. That's big damage. There's another follow through. And there it is again. The nades are enough. These guys looking unbelievable. And now again, they've pushed further from 20 eliminations already.
Oh, that was a nuke being sent. OGxTSG could not survive the wrath, and so will Godlike. They're not able to answer this one team. Nobody's able to do it. Absolute dominating performance. They're singing songs of death. They're singing songs of glory of their own, and they're just charging forward. Now looking at rising gods. And Raftar, he's trying to revive Megs, but it's not going to be helping them out as the rushes have already come forth one by one. They're just falling prey to it. Suchel, Megs, the last man standing, and the entire team just gets eroded. And that's the booyah that GOW were looking for so long. And this is the third one which they have just bagged in back to back, and 4 to be in total.
3 on a stretch, started with the booyah, totaled at 4. Could have had even the 5th by now. We saw that Reflex's play of how smart they were in survival. That is the only game of Bermuda that went away from GOW. But otherwise, all of them have been in their name. What a team from Southeast Asia. Vietnam is proud looking at this team's performance today. And they're going forward without any doubt right here on day 2 itself. And this is where it all started. From where Godlike were, they cleared that space, got that position for themselves, cleared Nightmare, pushed towards the Rising Gods. This was the best position that Rising Gods have finished on today. The top 3, and still it is GOW in front of them. Such a mammoth of a team to go against, and such a tough fight to have. And they still tried to see if there could be something different happening over there. Maybe an elimination from them grasped, but it did not happen. But still a 25 plus elimination game. And look at the split that they have any time that they're playing. Death, as that sniper, is always covering them, making sure that the other 3 can just run rampant in every land of Free Fire Max.
Oh my god. These lads have no fear. They have no remorse of what they're doing. And running rampant is just their nature now. Understanding the lobby since game 1, and later on is just sheer execution. My oh my. It's just excruciating pain for the other teams to even go ahead and fight against GOW. For sure, Vietnam is very proud of this team. And if this continues, again, it's another 41 pointer. Oh, sorry, 39.
Just. It was close. If they did get 29 eliminations as the previous game, it would have been another 41. But hey, I think they've been breaking barriers, records, and all of it here, Azora, so far, all that we've seen. And day 2, believe me, when I was watching the games yesterday, when you guys were on desk, I was wondering, what a phenomenal performance that we are seeing from the Southeast Asian teams. I think you have to give it to Vida of what they were doing. But today, GOW have taken it up a notch. They have turned it in the other direction. But Rising Gods, you have to give it to them. They've had a total of 25 points. Nightmare following the suit, similar. They are been getting that 15-20 points. NG Pros this time better. 14 is total. KAGENDRA, as you can see, still points along with GOAT Esports, but everybody else on single digits. Headhunters especially go out with only 1. But let's jump into the MVP, and this time it's going to be Jan, who has the Winchester and 12 eliminations.
Being a Grenadier, what does one expect? That it's going to be a low-balling number, less eliminations. This guy went up a notch, and he's like, you know what? A bomber can do even more than just this. 12 eliminations, 3 assists. That means total confrontations are 15. And in those 15, he has won 12 times. Damage of over 5,941. I could see the kind of grenades he was just popping with Alvaro and Piston on. So you can just understand the kind of collateral damage that was happening again and again.
He had the best of everything, Auzora. Best of everything. Yeah, the launcher with that, the nades, Alvaro, Beaston, all of it working for his end, and again on top of it, the thrill of battle, and on that, Nero as well, because we saw they were using that to perfection. As soon as somebody was trying to put down a glue wall and try to survive, and if the Nero is there, they instantly use it, clear the glue wall, and immediately put that person down, and then if that is not working, then Demon is always there to rush along with RIP. And that tells a lot about GOW. Let's take a look at their individual stats as well, and look at this. It is still close to 4,000. It's only this time I can see that RIP is a tad bit lower, but I think it doesn't matter at this point.
You know, Lucifer, what the best thing is? That this team goes together. No matter what the situation is, they stick like a pack of wolves.
Yep.
And God of Wolf for a reason. I could see that one fight that they were taking against...
They've been blessed with powers.
Yeah, IQOO, OGxTSG. They were taking this fight. They were very close. One player already got knocked. And I believe it was Dhyan that got knocked right there. And instantly the revival came through. All thanks to the players being so close to each other. And the push was amazing. All-round performance. Those nades were absolutely a banger. The HP dropping down. And those players were just like flies being swatted around all across. Nothing much could have been said there, but I just think that there's this 1 ounce of surprise that a team could have given easily. Nightmare, they were still stuck right beside that one specific station. But why would they expose themselves so much that, again, they fell prey to this team? Imagine them surviving till the end. That would have been such good opportunity for at least getting a frag or two. And from there on, you never know. Rising Gods could have clutched it.
It could have been an opportunity, but unfortunate for Nightmare, the zone was closing in. They knew they had a jump. They would have jumped right towards Rising Gods, and if they did that, there was already the approach coming in from God of Wolf. The GOW Esports team was ready for the fight that they were planning for. But on the other end, I think even in terms of their passives, right, that is giving them an additional advantage here for GOW Esports. The way they're working around. We just spoke about Alvaro, the MVP, of how it was going in from Dhyan's favor, right? But look at his teammates in terms of revival. They have Thiva, they have Olivia, all of that working. They have Joseph. They have packed this in such a manner that if anybody is down, they instantly get up. And that's where you mentioned, right? When they get knocked, within the blink of an eye, the player is up. But let's take a look at the last game, the drop spots, and how teams are going to function from here on. And let's take a look at one team in specific. That's going to be GOW Esports, and who is around them. It is Rising Gods and Red Cliff. That's what I'm worried about. Rising Gods came towards the top 2. This time they are next to GOW, and I think base camp shouldn't be their base camp at all.
Let's see how well they can perform. Right about in this Max Center, there are so many teams trying to collide, railroad. We can see KAGENDRA, they would love to play passive as they're just holding the tipsy top position. At least the podiums is what is being shared so far. Garrison, one of the places that we can see GOAT at. And right below, we have like a triad, which will be super important to win. Specifically, if NG Pros needs to do something big. Other than that, Reflex is doing so well so far from yesterday compared to today. The performance, as I've spoken multiple times, they have upped so many notches. So the homework is there. Headhunters on the other end. I would say, judging by the way they've already played yesterday, I don't think so there's any kind of a homework from their end. They've been unlucky so far. Whenever they have got in for a fight, they're constantly just being, thrown away, thrashed around, and if that happens again and again, they will lose the confidence as well. This is the final game, Lucifer. Final game for most of the teams, 6 teams to be precise. And this is now or never for them. You get good points, you at least stay or get the chance to stay in the top 10.
Yeah, it's now or never. That's as simple as it, especially for Group B. Group A,
Right.
I think, still have to understand that this is now or never for them. If they don't bring in points now, tomorrow Group C. That is another group of teams who have been finding points. They've been playing really well. 3 teams over there have found booyahs out of the other 8 that we have seen, right? Avida, GB and Meta Ninja. And if that continues, it could become a problem. Let's take a look at our caster predictions for the day as we're going to be concluding the last game. Let's see where we have headed. And I think I've said this, right? There is no way of dodging GOW Esports at any cost, at any level. You have to put them in play. Along with them, Nightmare have already been in the points table top 3 at all times. I feel like they have a chance. They could even stand a booyah if they played smart. You pointed that out, the position that they were in. KAGENDRA, they're just taking away points. That's all I can say. And I want them to take the points away. It's just getting way more interesting.
It is getting interesting. And so far, I won't shy away and not like to, be like, you know what, I'm not going to say this. I'm going to love to go ahead and say this. It is a GOW day. It is an absolute blockbuster Saturday for GOW and all the Vietnamese fans out there. You guys, well, the support, keep it clean. It's amazing the way GOW is performing so far. And this is the final game, and I'm expecting them to yet again be in the top 3 as they've been doing this consistently for 3 maps strong. So, well, NG Pros, this is your chance as well to go ahead and shine. And I'm not at all surprised when you picked Nightmare. Nightmare Esports, they themselves have been doing some really good job in getting those eliminations. They took a really good battle against KAGENDRA as well. So far, they're looking like a team who can do even better. But under the pressure, they should not be cracking down or losing all of those hopes. That's one of the things that I would love to see coming in from there, and the switcheroo gameplay. But final game, Lucifer, what do you think? What will happen next? At least, is there some kind of a trump card that you think that might come in?
I mean, I'm not too sure. To be honest, right? I really love this international lobby that we're seeing, a mixed set of teams.
Me too.
South Asia, Southeast Asia, which was very much necessary, right? To bring the competition of Free Fire Max to another level, and rightfully so it is doing. Now, yes, GOW might be stealing the show completely in their favor, but it is giving everybody the idea of what to expect when we jump towards Southeast Asia. Let's jump into this last and final finale game, especially for Group B. It is going to be on Alpine, and on Alpine, is it an opportunity for Group B teams who have been falling a little short to pick up points? It starts now.
Oh, well, Alpine. We have seen so many teams head all the way towards Snowfall. Oh, wait. Okay, it's just one team. Oh, it's a big split. IQOO, OGxTSG, they are heading to Garrison alongside Snowfall, and the others trying to gain control towards the smack center. Railroad is one of the places that we can see KAGENDRA towards. And wait a second, base camp. Oh, well, that's where the show begins.
We spoke about this. There was supposed to be only 2 teams, but it ended up becoming a 3-way tie right now. It was supposed to be towards the militia, where we should have seen 2 or 3 teams, the triad that you spoke about. GODLIKE, they're the ones who face the first to go down, but they are also one of the ones to pick up the elimination in contrary. And who are they picking up against? It's going to be Rising Gods. Unfortunate, they are in a lot of trouble. They need every point, and you can see that run coming in from Deepupot. He's doing it because he wants to survive. I don't know how he's managing to make that run, and I don't know for how long he can keep this ongoing. GODLIKE, they're on the chase. Finally, they've spotted him. He's going to be put down. And then a melee to secure the elimination. Revived also. But look at REFLEX. They've gotten closer on the map, and if GODLIKE do not understand this, REFLEX United, they need points, and they could grab for Bangladesh.
Well, GODLIKE, Nancy. That was a very unfortunate even there, but it's alright. Things can be brought back into perspective, and that's where IQOO comes in place. Finally, I would say, I was about to say that RC Deadcliff, they were planning something devious or mischievous, but it's not going to happen right about now. But Nightmare on the other end, they would love to take a fight, pick a bone against Headhunters. This is one of the places that we usually expect skirmishes right off the bat, and we are not at all surprised to see all of this. Marvel is already been down on his knees. Help is what he's crying out for. But Arsh, so far he's not doing a good job in getting those knocks. But finally he connects, and this is it. Nightmare would not want to go ahead and call in yet another fight. Not at all. Bringing back those players were important. But Headhunters, they've done a really good job in controlling the aggression.
Both Indian teams both need to pick up points, and they have to surpass, I think, maybe around 110 if possible. If it works out for them, they're close. Nightmare have already surpassed it to beyond, but I'm pretty sure Headhunters want to do the same thing, and that is the reason this fight prolonged. This fight perfected in that manner, but Nightmare cannot risk it and let this game go. However, NG Pros, they can risk it. It's their first day in terms of action, and they've jumped to it. They've gotten decent points today. It's not a great day, they could call it, but they're ready right on top of Headhunters. And if Headhunters do not conclude another fight, I feel like points could be scarce for them to be in the top 10.
Indeed. NG. All of them getting attracted to just this one spot. Earlier on, we could see Nightmares taking a fight against Headhunters, and now NG Pros, they would love to take the piece of the pie. Long range shots being taken. Players are falling down like flies, and Manu, it's all thanks to him. 2 eliminations already been secured. Aztec, Cropsy just rushing forward, taking down Arsh as well. Will be a big task. The others have already ran away. So it's alright. Even if they try and get that one player down in the range. But wait a second, these Akimbo vectors are not working out. Manu, he absolutely struggled. But finally securing it will make him feel better.
I'm not too sure what happened over there. Farhan, while his teammates were somewhere in the other direction, he thought it was a safe fight. He could have picked up that one elimination. I'm not too sure completely what the idea was, but right now the idea for KAGENDRA is to take the top team down. They want to go and take this fight head on. Southeast Asia versus Southeast Asia is happening. Vietnam versus Indonesia. And GOW, they've found the knock as well to equalize this battle. RIP on the chase, wants to put Jojo down, but it doesn't work in his favor. Nice cryo being used, and now Death has to run in the other direction. Thankfully, he was revived before the entirety of Dock was cleared. In KAGENDRA, right now win the battle against GOW Esports at Dock.
Oh, that's good. That's at least giving your team some kind of a survivability. And Docs, they've been completely under the control of this one team. Like it, like the enthusiasm. Final game, not a single elimination. Okay, teams are playing passive in this one. And the moment I said that, there goes GOW. The contenders for this entire day. That's a surprise.
Big one. Surprise it is. Last one's down this game for GOW. They did so much, at least in the previous 5 games that we've witnessed, but it could be a boon right now, Zora, to be honest, right? For the other teams, GOW is not in the lobby. It's time to pick up points, and especially again, I've been saying this from the time we've jumped on from the game number 4, right? You have to pick up points for whoever is in Group B, because your action stops at the end of Alpine. And after that, done for the day. You have to just pray that nobody pushes you out towards the 11th spot. And I'm pretty sure Headhunters don't want that. That's why they're surging forward to eliminations. They have a total of 11 in their name. Ursh at a total of 4. They somehow managed to dodge things around from NG Pro, survive, move in the other direction, good in a safe spot. But on the other end, their competitors in the same group, Redcliffe, what do? Rising Gods, what do? Reflex United, they did a lot today. So I am worried for these 2 names right as of now. Rising Gods as well as Redcliffe.
Yassine. My god, he has an instinct for dodging all of those bullets. For a second, I thought he's Neo from the Matrix. But unfortunately, he's not. Instantly being called in. That's really nice of the teammates. That was just 1 point here and there, trying to find out what's happening towards the map. And Headhunters, they've been found. They're right close to the circle itself. So taking damage won't matter a lot for them. If they want to take some loot, that's something different. But wait a second, top one? What's happening here? They're taking a fight against Rising Gods. And there's another team, which is GOAT. It's like a sandwich situation. Okay, this is going to be fun.
I don't know why, but they've all decided to take a fight outside the zone advantage. So many teams together. And I think this is about the points that we were talking about. Rising Gods want to confirm it. But they are against GOAT Esports, who do not have much to lose, but they're ready to pick up points if they get it. They grab one against Rising Gods. Bangladesh, top one. They also want points. They will try their best. But who do they face off against? And it's going to be GOAT, a team from Group A, fighting against the same group teams. Sharin spotted Alif right in front, trying to get closer with the Max Wax 7. Does he find the knock? No, he gets inside through the window, and now Sharin decides to pack with his teammate Tennyson. Shovo, he's trying to get closer with the 590. Can he find an opportunity? Max 7, it doesn't work. It's going to be the 590 to answer.
Sharin! I thought he was going to be using his Sharin gun, but it did not help him out there. Top one, what a way to secure all of those points. There's still a ray of hope. There's still ways to go ahead and conclude the entire fight in top one. They have done a really good job. That one place where Sharin just flubbed his moment, got stuck towards a glue wall, that just made the entire difference. And now moving inside the circle, we can see GODLIKE, all eyes on them, and Redcliffe right in front of them. Redcliffe, so far, they haven't been so confident in taking those battles. But a plushie right in front to get the information, and that too has been evacuated. IQOO playing it very smart.
At the 11th spot, just on your screens, you saw Reflex United get eliminated. And that could be a cause of concern, especially after doing so much Aurora today. They even had a booyah in their name, and now in the last game where they should have survived, should have played till the very end, are down and under the weather. They're going to be eliminated. All they can do right now is going to make sure that day 3, that is tomorrow, works in their favor.
Well. KAGENDRA.
At base camp.
Yeah. They're just scanning through.
Used. Yeah.
They just want to know what's happening here in the nearby park. Arvon, that's always going to be such a friendly pet, man. Imagine you can use his ability thrice in the entire game. That itself is such a great relief for most of the teams when they want to switch around, when they want to go in for a rotation. They can check the opponent's locations. They can check whether someone is nearby or not. And if they want to push in, that also helps. It's a two-way sword. It's up to you how you want to use it. And Jojo, in the middle of all of that, he has managed to take down Rad. That's mighty of him to get those points. And like you rightly mentioned, right, once Gao just goes away, multiple teams are going to get the opportunity to at least stay afloat.
Yeah. And so far, 10 minutes into the game, we are reaching the 11th. We have 10 teams surviving, only 2 eliminated. KAGENDRA, they might have been picking up points, but not as quickly as GOW. Slowly getting closer towards the circle. GOAT right behind KAGENDRA. Headhunters as well, right across KAGENDRA towards base camps buildings. Headhunters, they need points. They've already gotten 12 in their name. Longest elimination distance goes to Nightmare. They're also picking up points because they also know that they're securing their qualification towards the BR finals if they do really well in this last game. Because right now, at a total of already 161 points on the screen that we just now saw, they would want to push it as much as possible, because already at 173 at the end of day 1, even though this game is not concluded, GOW Esports are there. So playing it closer to them should be the safest option.
Ooh. I'm not liking how this entire map looks like. There's a lot of heat signs, and soon the battle is going to brew up. Headhunters, base camp being one of the places where they've already found themselves a really good spot, and that can be snatched away as BD top 1. They're slowly but surely heading towards the circle. NG Pros, another battle that they're going to take, and this time they're going to take it so fluently. KAGENDRA right in front of them. One player has already bitten down to dust. Jojo, trying to get that elevated angle and understand what's happening here, where the opponents can be, but it's Anubhav who's just charging forward, M590 in his hand, and he just wants to go ahead and claim those bodies one by one, tag him and bag him. Jojo, what's he gonna do? What's the response coming in from his end? Absolutely nothing, as he too fades away. KAGENDRA, 10th position is what they get in this final map. And 176 points is where they conclude after day 1 and day 2's performance.
While they conclude their day, it was very much necessary for NG Pros to end on a high note. They took down one of the competitors that they could be facing after this week ends. That was a very nice fight to conclude, actually. They were ready. They were making sure, surrounding the opponents one after another, even though they were closing in on the glue walls, but they took one after another, making sure they're down, get those eliminations, and do not give them an opportunity for revival. And with them out, NG Pros now stand a chance for a fight. But on the other end, Bangladesh top 1, because they were getting pummeled by bullets, they decide to make a jump right across Headhunters and into the building. Seems to be safe and sound, but they do not have numbers to work with, and that is the reason Headhunters are ready for a chase. Ursh is in, but he didn't cover the corner, and he gets taken down. They need to clear it, and finally Alif gets put down, and the last survivor from top 1 will also be tried to put down. He's trying his best for survival. One glue all across, trying to launch a nade into it, but somehow Shovo is surviving, but not for far too long, as Bangladesh top 1 will be eventually eliminated as Headhunters push their total of eliminations to 14.
Oh, he was busted and outward, Shobo. I don't know how he was surviving with just 1 HP, but he did it, man. But there's another response way too quick. IQOO, OGxTSG, they're right across. They wanted to go ahead and initiate this battle, but Headhunters, they were way too quick in placing all of those glue walls. So far, they have secured themselves a really good house. And this battle is not going to go anywhere. It's IQOO, OGxTSG, they just move forward. They're like, let's just see what our competition looks like. And GOAT, they were right around the corner. Now they have been pummeled down to elimination.
Rising Gods, they could have had a lot more tension on their end, and it seems like yes, confirmations for IQOO OGxTSG. But on the other end, we did see another team to be eliminated, that is Nightmare, and along with them, even Rising Gods and Bolts are back again. Headhunters are putting down IQOO OGxTSG, but it's going to be the other way around. They've brought it down to only X-Divine surviving. They'd surrounded them. Kunal had pushed out, but eventually he'll also be cleaned up. That's going to be the help of GODLIKE, but GODLIKE, they have to be smart, because aggression right now is going to be ramping up, because this is the last 4 teams fighting for one last booyah here on day 2.
Look at Red Cliff, the way they've already made their way too forward, inching close just to take this fight against GODLIKE. This could have been a devil's advocate, but unfortunately it did not work out to be so perfect for them. The pushes are coming through as GODLIKE, they're way too confident in taking this fight. And Red Cliff, they're eliminated. The speed at which they came from is how they got eliminated. NG Pros, they have the height advantage. IQOO, OGxTSG, they're still trying to find a way across and reach on top, but this one rock is gonna help NG Pros a lot. Who is it gonna be? What do you think, Lucifer?
3 Indian teams, out of which IQOO OGxTSG get eliminated by GODLIKE, and down to the last 2, NG Pros versus GODLIKE. Everybody, when the day started, Group A came through, thought one of these 2 teams are going to get a booyah. They're going to end on a booyah, but who is it going to be? GODLIKE have looked better, but IQOO is down. NG Pros seem like they're making the magic work. Anubhav puts them all down, one after another, and that is NG Pros ending on a high note at the end of day 2. What a booyah to close for India. They're going to be finally happy. They were looking forward to their Indian team find one booyah in their name. Meta Ninja did yesterday, and NG Pros do it today.
Oh my god. For a second I thought Cropsy's taking a big, bold move. This might backfire, but it did not. He took down that support player who was trying to snipe and scope it and see where the opponents are. He was absolutely not ready to see what's happening next. And that wild card just shook the entire team. Oh boy, this is the second time that GODLIKE was so close You're getting that booyah, but eventually they just faded away. These three minions just came forward. Cropsy, look at that. Lovely shot on Echo. And post that, there was absolute domination from all three ends. Blazing weapons, M590 in hand. And the booyah was imminent.
Much needed here for India, here in Fire MAX Asia Invitational. The region needed another representative, at least here in day 2. It seemed to be that GODLIKE could have picked it up, but NG Pros, the team who we did question, Aujora, had a little bit of doubts in terms of how they were fighting things around, even when they let go of Rising Gods' last survivor, and even though they did not conclude a booyah in that given map of Kalahari. But now, here in the last game, the way they played, held their footing, waited for their opportunity from the position that they were in, a boulder, a rising, I would say, architecture of the land, and they played it out better. Used the information, and rightfully, as you pointed out, making sure the man in the back line gets taken down. Anubhav taking care of the man at the front, holding off GODLIKE one after another, worked in their favor in a phenomenal fashion, and they get this booyah closed. That's going to be a good one, and which was something that we were also looking forward to. I had them in the predictions early on, and I had them in the it was Kalahari, yes. That's where I thought they should have picked it up because they had a slight bit of momentum. Something went wrong, but here everything went right.
Every single thing, down to the minute detail, perfect. The execution of NG Pros, well, this is what they were lacking even in Kalahari. They did reach top 3, and I thought that might have been that one move which could have changed so many things, but it did not happen. It's all right. But in the final one, ending on a high note is very important for this team. So Group A, they still can go ahead and showcase what they can do and how well they can score in the next following day. But unfortunately for Group B, this is done and dusted for.
Let's jump into the game standings to get an idea of what they've done so far. Because as of now, this last game, there was KAGENDRA out, there was GOW out. That means a lot of points. Headhunters tried their best. Was it enough? They went down to IQOO OGxTSG. Unfortunate for Headhunters, who were not prepared for the immediate fight after them closing out on the other team. However, now with NG Pros at the top in the booyah of this game standings at a total of 27 points. GODLIKE at the suit following them at 23 points. Headhunters as well right behind them at 20 points. IQOO OGxTSG also sharing the same amount of points. And the top 4 all Indian teams that you are seeing, and following that suit is all the Bangladeshi teams. That's going to be Bangladesh top 1 at 13. The GOAT Esports at 11, sharing it with Redcliffe. And Redcliffe, I think this last hurrah that they had, they tried to play as best as they could, because again, for them it was a very much necessary game. Played the survival, but GODLIKE knew their position.
You know, they hit those drums way too loud, announcing their entrance right behind GODLIKE. And I just thought that it's going to be a Redcliffe game. As Redcliffe, they were very sneaky at first, but those shots, when they took, it was a miss, and the information game on GODLIKE was like absolutely on point. But this is the overall standings, ladies and gentlemen, as KAGENDRA, they are at the tippy top. But GOW Esports, they have made sure that the day 1 is gonna make every single thing count.
Every team in Group B is also in top 10, but is it gonna be enough to stay at the position that they're in? Because from tomorrow, we're going to see action back from GB Esports, NG Pros, Meta Ninja, Reckoning, IQOO OGxTSG, Revenant X Spark, the GOAT Esports, Fangs, and Bangladesh top 1. Now, Bangladesh top 1, similar in position of where we ended up seeing Reflex United with just 36 points. But today, they're at the 8th spot at a total of 106 points. But I'm a little afraid for them, Azora, to be honest. They had a booyah today. They played good, but the last game, they barely had enough points to even showcase what they did at day 2.
Well, that's one of the places that most of the teams are going to be very, very cautious about, and tomorrow will be one of those times where they need to just be on point. So might as well do your homework very well. That's the only thing that you need to do absolutely spot on. Homework. Group A did it very well. Group B, unfortunately, they just did not know what hit them. It was like a truck which came at such a speed that they could not even calculate. So Might as well see now, fingers crossed, whether they can reach towards the top 10 or not. That's the only question that they will have in their head going on.
I feel like we might come towards somewhere 110, 120 to be the cutoff for them to be in the top 10. But let's talk about the MVP of our last game of Alpine that we just witnessed. It's going to be Anubhav, the man who also dealt the last blow, making sure whoever was rushing towards him, he's going to rush upon them. 5 total eliminations, 3 assists, had Dimitri. And along with that, we've seen this kind of trend of Joseph and Thiva being together along with J-Beebs for XP that they want. And it's working for them. Sorry, EP. And M590, Arvin for information, the Dinoculars working along with the Team Booster. And I think teams are now finally getting somewhere fully ready with the new loadout that we are also seeing and getting ready for what's about to come as they're going to be heading towards the next week as well. Still not concluded, still not decided, but NG Pros start towards it.
Oh, yeah. So let's see. The overall performance has been good, but it's not top-notch just yet, Lucifer. You need to hit some really big pointers. Those hoops, I don't know whether it's going to be a tad bit smaller or bigger, somehow do what GOW has already replicated today. Talking about the team stats, we can see it out here. Coda being utilized as well. The moment Aztec drops down, he can understand what's happening in and around them. I don't know whether teammates, they will be very sound about listening to all of those audio cues or not. But Coda is a really good pick. Skylar coming into the picture. Tatsuya and Dimitri. Dimitri coming into the picture of a rusher. Well, this itself is like a big, like a trump card, which Anubhav has very well played in this following game. So hoping that this team keeps up with the similar kind of a pace as they're required to be on their top performance for the next following day.
Now here in the team stats, a little difference in terms of the Southeast Asian teams and Indian teams we are seeing in the passive as well. Kind of when you look at Manu, where he has gone for Maro and Moko, we generally did see on the Grenadier as well from the Southeast Asian teams. That tells you that an approach from Indian teams, from the Bangladeshi teams, any other South Asian teams, even from Nepal, we end up seeing is a tad bit different compared to the Southeast Asian teams. But we'll come to that discussion tomorrow once again. But let's talk about the Booyah team stats, where you see NG Pros, all of them, and minimum of 2 eliminations, at the highest at 5 eliminations with Anubhav, and a damage of around 2000. Maximum at 2500 coming in from Manu, and on the other end everybody else at 1900, 1400 and 1554, last by Aztec, the newest addition, and it seems like it is finally finding its place for NG Pros. Everybody was wondering once that separation happened with Aztec and Shanky, with Shanky going the other direction, Aztec joining NG Pros, and will this work? It seems like at the end of today's game number 6, it has found its way to even a Booyah.
You know, all these statistics, they look so small. I mean, the kind of benchmark that has already been set, it's way too high, Lucifer. It's way too high. And in order to go ahead and cope up, you need to just keep at it. Keep getting those damage games up. Keep showcasing that you are built different. I mean, the meta here that we could see in NG Pro's hands, that itself was very different from whatever we have seen so far. So that showcases so much difference. And I would love to see how well these teams can go ahead and cope up to all of the action that we could see today. Ladies and gentlemen, this was an exciting affair. My oh my, I did not believe that Group A is going to come in with such a big banger. But the way they have come forth, it's just a treat to the eye.
See, we had a reference point, right? When we were starting about this, a complete document to check on this. And it was written, there is going to be chaos when Group A unfolds. And honestly, as you said, I knew it was going to be chaos, but not to an extent what we witnessed. Exactly. All of these teams out in such momentum. Yes, GOW might have stolen the show, but you saw GODLIKE. You saw how NG Pros now just ended the day. IQOO OGxTSG as well. Initial start was not that great, but after that we've been seeing them closer towards the top 5, top 3. They're being in that podium positions, and I think GOAT slowly and steadily are also raking up points. But is it going to be enough? Because tomorrow Avida is going to come back, and GB is going to come back, along with that Meta Ninja is going to come back. Who will you keep out? This is where we ended up witnessing Group A and B finish their day off. Now tomorrow is going to be Group A and C, and who do you count out? Which team from Group B do you think did not make the cut? Because every team from Group B also played their part today.
They did. And according to the entire playstyle, I would say Group B, they fell shy way too much,
A little,
as
yes.
GOW were overpowering the entire lobby. That one team itself is just making so much noise that the others are not able to listen through it. And I don't know, the kind of chaos that we witnessed in the teams was very evident or not, but we could see those mishaps happening, those fights, the 1v1 that could not land on point. That itself showcases that, well, the competition is way above. You need to reach towards that point. So might as well go ahead and keep grinding Fire MAX again and again to the point where you have just refined it. It needs to look liquid, just like GOW.
It is, and this competition is helping out every team to push their limits, fuel their fire to make sure they become the champion by next weekend. But who is it going to be? But before that, who is going to qualify towards the BR finals, meet the next set of 8 teams? All this question will unfold tomorrow when we start things off with the battle between Group A and C. The Fire MAX Asia Invitational will continue tomorrow again. This is going to be Lucifer as well as Auzora signing out. Keep playing and let's see who wins.
Your